on this one. We'll see if we can continue to print on it. What is Apple doing now? I'm officially out of Apple as it does break down below that 40 penny area. So the dead one doing dead one things. Chad, the Katina Man is like, let's go, dead one. The Katina Man is short Apple at 168.11. Keep that in mind. He is short off the top there. The other trade that I've been eyeing down is this softy trade. So this whole idea here is to take the VWAP retracement into softy. So the soft one has a VWAP at 409.12, 409.10. We're still a ways away from it right now, printing about $1 south of that at 408.10. But if we do make our way back up there, I'm going to want all the smoke. Be careful what you wish for, maybe. Ooh. I shouldn't really challenge it that much, Adair. It is a $3 trillion market cap. You got to show the soft one some respect. The soft one.
As you call it, the soft one.
All right, printed on Google here. This is the trade that's actually working. Disappointed with that trade on Apple, but, you know, thought I'd give it a shot. Oh, Tesla is back above 160 again. What is going on here on Apple? Why am I long? Oh, crap. So I had another order. Okay, I see what's going on here. So I'm long Apple 152s. Oh. So 168.52 Katina. I'm long one share. Okay, so I don't know, for whatever reason this didn't get me out of one share, but that's the look there. What's going on with you, Adair?
Yeah, so the triple Qs right now, I am still playing these. I like this range. Tried to get short to take it for about 10 pennies. Missed that by half a penny, which is really frustrating, but that's okay. Then I tried to get long, wasn't able to get a price I liked. Right now, we're just gonna wait. I don't have any levels on this right now unless we bounce off 50s. It's on my side chart, it's on my mind, and that's all I can ask for it ask of it right now. Yeah, this is hard when, like, I feel like I've been a little bit bearish recently, and I think today the market certainly gave you reason to do so. But this NVDL, I think, on the upside, the opportunity to buy pops probably, or sorry, not buy pops, buy dips into the pops is something I like. Also, I do want to be cognizant of what we do at 32.90 because that was a little bullish candle earlier that I think would be worth noting. So yeah, I guess like support is what I mean. We hit that wick to the downside. So that's a support area I want to watch. We're about 20 pennies away from it. So I do think this could be an interesting look here on NVDL. Right now though, those TQ kind of range plays, like, you know, bouncing, coming back up into support, resistance is probably the biggest thing I have on right now. But let's look at some of these Bitcoin names because I've been looking at those all day. IBIT. Okay, I see you, IBIT. I don't know what I see yet, but I see levels and I want to talk about them.
Okay.
So we had that support earlier here, 36, what is it, 36.95. Then it becomes clear resistance. Then we're here now again. Now, will we resist or will we find support off this 90 MA? I don't know yet. I want to be patient, but we have been in a bit of an uptrend since that pseudo double bottom in the 5-minute at 12.25 at the price of 36.68. So let's wait and see here. I want to find out what's going on, what's happening, and I want to see what this market is telling me. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if anyone has anything else they're looking at, let me know, because I feel like I am running out of some ideas.
You want to look at this one? I know you're small cap gap averse, or kind of. AIRE. Have you seen this one?
I have not.
Jeez.
Whew.
Yeah,
that's a nice look, but that's a little bit of a topping tail.
Yes, it is.
That I want to keep an eye on here. I am not the small cap trader. I honestly always talk about this. I don't know how Sharif can get out of a small cap right before it halts or falls to the downside. You have like
a couple of times.
It's happened enough that it is worth noting. It's uncanny at a certain point. So shout out to Sharif for that. But yeah, this air. We have that bearish candle here, but I want to see what we do at that 104 area if we get there, because look at the chop and churn we had in that $1 104 area. To me, that's a nice look if we're able to bounce off that. Also, that reminds me, speaking of names that had nice, interesting moves earlier, HPQ. On that news that Trader was talking about, yeah, this one kind of died off. A little bit of a range. I definitely should have been watching this. Now kind of falling, trading below VWAP, or sorry, above VWAP, below the 90 MA. This could actually, you know what? This could be a flat bottom break. It's up on the day, mind you, but we did have what could have been a flag breakout that broke down. So you know what? If you take this, if I take this off the 90 MA, I don't know if it's going to be enough worth it for me, enough risk to reward. It's something I'm going to have to deeply consider before getting involved. And I really should have taken that TQQ dip buy, because that would have worked out. But that's okay. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Waiting for more opportunities. Yeah, I wish I had reads on stuff right now, guys. But waiting and kind of seeing what happens. That airy is a nice look. But But yeah, I mean, right now, just kind of waiting to see if there's anything that specifically works for me as a trader.
Okay. I'm short Apple, and we flipped on this one. Yeah, I don't know. I see lower highs. I mean, this is kind of why I got into it. I didn't really see an area of support that I absolutely loved at these levels. So we'll see what we get here. I'm also looking at Tesla, 161. I'd like the 162 a little bit better, not going to lie, because that's where the volume weighted average price is. But there is a consolidation low from around 11 o'clock to when we broke that 161 level at 11:45 at on TSLA. But I'm going to do that in a second, as now I have to keep in mind this Apple trade as it is above the 50 penny area. Did not want to give this that much room. Yeah, so we're going to lose about 10 pennies a share here on the dead one, aka Apple. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's a bit of a consolidation here. So I'm going to stop trading this as if it is like not a momentum trade, but I don't want to say a range trade either. Basically, just a directional channel. I was kind of thinking we were on the way down with the lower highs and the lower lows, but that may not be the case here. We'll wait and see. 17,650 coming in on the future, so keep your eye out for that 50-point level. It could mean something. It could also mean nothing. So keeping an eye out there. Apple right back into my entry, and it looks as if Tesla, for a second at least, is rejecting that. Where the hell is my Tesla? Okay, I changed it. Is rejecting that 161, at least for the moment. Maybe not by that much aggression, but it's not breaking. It got right into 161, turned right back around down into 160, 65 or so. It's at the $0.75 right now. I'm keeping an eye on this 161 level on TSLA. It is a consolidation area bottom. If it ends up holding up, fantastic. If not, we'll look for another trade. We did curl into the 50-period moving average on the 5 on the NQ, okay? Which also is the 50-period moving average, which is the 50-point area. So it's the 50-period moving average and 50 points as well on that level. Let's go ahead here. So with Apple, right back down we go into the entry. Let's see if we can get a beak wetter at 33s or thereabouts. It's a bit of a tougher trade here on Apple. I'm going to tell you, I don't have a good read on this at the moment. It is kind of stuck in a consolidative range, but with topping tail and bottoming tail candles. Hard to understand for me. I'll keep my eye on it. SPY watching 505 to 505.50 area for a short entry, says Big Kyle Burdett. Shout out to Big Kyle. Let me know how that goes. We know that Big Kyle was short around that 507 area and held that bad boy from the morning. So we'll keep eyes on that. Goggles now has broken decidedly above 158. So this one's acting distinctly different. Shout out to the one, the Canoe, I saw back there. This one had been ranging below the volume weighted average price, literally the almost all morning, save and except for this one pop here into the yesterday's closing price. But there goes VWAP. We take 158 and looks like we're headed on the way up. Keep your eye out on that 158 1/4, 158 1/3. That is yesterday's closing price and also a key area of resistance from around 10 o'clock today. So stuff to do here. We'll see exactly how this Apple trade ends up resolving. The other trade that I have that I possibly could have on is a 409 short on Softy. I am looking for a VWAP retracement and a rejection on Softy. That is around 409. That's about 30 pennies from where we're hanging out right now. That could be coming in soon.
Yeah, there's a lot to look at, and it's hard to know in what direction it's going to move.
Yeah, I really don't have an idea.
This NVDL, we're trying to scalp minimum 15 pennies on this, so let's move a little bit to the downside. Now I know a person would look at this and say, Dara, this is an upward trend. I agree, but that doesn't mean I can't short it till it bounces. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. I think that suits my style of trading. I think this bearish candle, which formed here, so we had like that kind of wick down here into this 3280. Now we reject the 3280 on a wick basis. That's the type of stuff I like looking for. We also had a bullish candle happening there at the time, and I don't know how it closed there, but the TQQs also trying to look a little bit bearish. I mean, the TQQs closed higher, but I think the NVDL definitely a better look there with that candle of rejection here. If we break above 3280s, I'm out, risking about 13 pennies, trying to make minimum 15. Again, my risk to reward ratios are unique, but they work for me, so all good on that. Let's have this NVDL head to the downside. That's one thing I want to work for as well, is trying to risk a little bit less to get a little bit more from my trades. Because I'm comfortable with what I'm risking on my levels, but it's like a dare. Maybe you want to try to get a little bit more profit. Then again, I don't want to overstay my welcome either, so it's going to be something I'm going to have to work on. But right now, NVDL knocking on the door of that 3280, which is not fun for me, but I have no reason to leave yet. So we're going to wait, we're going to stay, we're going to chill, and we're going to see what this market wants us to do. Also, yeah, I love Bennett Hall in the chat. It could mean something, it could mean nothing. That's the motto for trading. Yeah, so shout out to that there. That is absolutely the case. That is absolutely true. NVDL trying to break up here, and given that bullish candle we have in the Qs, I think somebody is going to have to maybe make an exempt from this trade. But we're going to have to wait and see what we do with 3280s before that, because we get there, then we reject again. You know, so we're going to stay for now. You know what, NVDL, you want me to stay? I can be patient. I mean, I can't, but in this case, I will for you, NVIDIA. I will try my best to be patient for you. What else are people looking at? I saw someone saying Docu earlier, so let's see if there's any, signs of life here, any signs of movement in DocuSign. So I'm just going to get out of this NVDA quickly, or NVDL, sorry. There we go, we're out of NVDL. This Docu, this is a nice look, continuing to the upside here. Higher highs, higher lows. Bit of a move down here, and then we bounce off this this 90 MA here at 57.30. So this is a great look. This is one I want to take a look at the daily chart on, because this is always, oh, RIP my chart. That's cool. We'll get it back up. But yeah, DocuSign, I know there was those buyout rumors. This one was earnings sometimes be a little bit reactive, so it's one I definitely want to see what we're doing here. That is for sure. And let's go to Docu on the NQ. Yeah, this is a nice. Yeah, an interesting look there on the daily chart for Docu. Previous support a couple times at this 57, 58 area. We're knocking on the door, just breaking above that 90 MA. I think we need to really break above and also have a higher high here above that support resistance level at, what is this, like 58.10? That would be interesting to me to kind of break this downward trend we've been in. But overall, yeah, that resistance level at 61, we definitely failed before. So a couple areas on the way.
Yeah, this market's getting like a whole new wind here to the high side, and we're at the 50 period on the 5 on the NQ, and it looks like things are happening here for the longs. I'm short softy here at this level. I'm not going to give it that much more room. It's going to have to hold up at these levels. If it crosses my line, then it crosses my line. But the whole idea here was to take softy on a dip pop, or a dip pop, hold on, that doesn't make sense. On a pop into VWAP and then a rejection of VWAP. But if the future keeps heading up, well, then we're going to have to really rethink that whole thing. So going to keep my eye out for softy at these levels. I'm hoping for a rejection here and a move back down. We shall see what manifests. We almost made a 158 and a half touch there on Google, so it breaks well above that 158 and a quarter close from yesterday. So that's a good little retracement there from Google, and big move up actually off VWAP and off the previous day's close, which are all key areas of resistance. At least that's what I was charting. So we'll continue to watch that. Tesla did find resistance, or is continuing to find resistance, I should say, at 161. Again, for whatever reason, that was a period of consolidation low. This morning on TSLA 161, I see a bit of a topping tail candle on it, but let's be real. If we continue to head up on the future, there is the likelihood that we continue to pop on Tesla, and that 161, we may give up the ghost on it. So I'm going to keep my eye here on softy, because close to getting stopped out. I think if this one breaks $0.25, that's why I put my out on this one. And it's been dancing a little bit here at VWAP, not taking VWAP with aggression. So I don't want to get bamboozled and paper hand this trade. But if it's going to continue north, then obviously I want no part of it. So keeping an eye here. The future's at 17,666. That's a little ominous.
Oh, that is
yeah,
ominous.
I know. By the way, I did get stopped out of that Apple trade. Apple's just too strong, so it ended up breaking above the area where I had my stop. So that is done on that trade. So no go on Apple. I'm now negative on Apple after being positive on it to start the day. So we'll have to deal with that. But we'll continue to see what is going off on these Mag 7 names. NVIDIA short, says Big Kyle. I do like that. I do like that area of resistance that we have at 816 or 817. I don't know if you saw that, Kyle, but we had this range from 1105 till around 1140 where we use that level as a level of support. Now it looks like as it is acting as an area of resistance. So I'll keep eyes on that ADR.
Yeah, I'm in the NVIDIA short. I initially got out of the NVDL short because we broke above that 3280 area with the viciousness, and I said, you know, I don't want to be here. I want to be able to look at stocks for other people and not have NVIDIA on my mind, stressing me out. But then I'm joking, I wasn't really stressed. I just got out cleanly. But then it was like, we had that level again. I also didn't love the price I initially had. I think I had like 65s on the NVDL short, which was definitely suboptimal. But then I got the opportunity to get 3273s. I like that much better. I still like this move to the downside. Then we had, I'm going to show NVDA to show this pretty bearish candle here, this wick to the upside, saying like, as Sharif was pointing out there. And I think also because it was around the 816, 817 area, there was a lot of confluence for me. I felt confident taking this trade. I felt emboldened. My out's going to be the same though, that 3280. And I want to say something as well, because someone said something in the chat once that I keep in mind that I think is very valid. And I forget who it was. It was a while ago. But you know, if you get stopped out of a trade, don't try to enter in the same direction. I think that's valid, but I think also for me, sometimes it makes sense for me to consider why I got stepped out. In this case, my entry was really bad on that initial short. Like that 3265, it's like, Adara, what are you doing? 30, whatever that my entry was, right? I like 3273s much better, and I did watch to kind of see that failure of 80, so I had even more confidence that I could be taking the trade in a way that made sense for me. So that's why I think that NVDL trade, it might still not work out, mind you, and I do think it is worth it saying if the trade didn't work, why are you getting back in? But I think if you have your reason to get in or stay in, if you recognize the reason it didn't work in the first place was at least in part because of your approach to it, then I think it could be valid to try again. Of course, it's going to be to each their own, but that's just my take on that. So I just wanted to opine on that for a moment. Also, there was someone here, Wave Alchemist, I love that name, asking about ARM. So yeah, ARM, oh, I just pulled up a firm for some reason, and I just did it again. ARM, there we go. We're just gonna get out of the NVDL here on the side because it failed here yet again. Why will it not let, oh, there we go. But yeah, this is all good. We're out of NVIDIA, not a moment too soon because all these chips very strong.
Oh yeah.
ARM, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35 minutes worth of upside here for ARM. All these 5-minute green candles trying to poke its little head above VWAP here, up 4+% on the day, but it's also worth noting, not just VWAP, we're coming into that resistance area here, or sorry, support earlier of $100.50 or $100.45. That was definitely an area of support earlier, so we'll have to see what we do. We're about 35 pennies away. Anybody who took this ARM long from the bottom, shout out to you. You're up almost $3 now, so that is a very nice look there for ARM, trying to strong arm the market, doing a little bit of a flex, a crunch there. I
just got strong armed off Microsoft. We were looking for that VWAP rejection. We didn't get it. It danced around it for a little bit, Ram, but then right back into that 409.5 it goes. Chart guys. Into that 409 it goes. We are approaching 17.7 and VWAP. So this is interesting here. Call me crazy, but I'm still looking short. I got to tell you the truth. So I'm going short Tesla here. Let's see if we can get a better price than the current one here on TSLA. We'll go short on this bad boy. I'm still thinking short here. Call me crazy, but I'm going to try my hand at the short on Tesla. Where did we get along? We got short 81s. Yeah, a lot of strength coming into this market. Yeah, Dan, you did warn. You said that there was going to be strength. Shout out to Dan, the man Emmons, futures trader extraordinaire. Let's see if we can wet our beak on some profits here on Tesla as it does come back down into that area. A lot of topping tail candles here on Tesla. That's why I'm inclined to look short on this name. Looks like we did come off 17,691 or 692 or thereabouts. That is where VWAP is on the future. But wow, okay, everything is headed up here. I think we're going to break to the high side. So I'm probably just going to have to get out of all these trades and yeah, rethink this whole thing because I think we're long at the moment.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to take Mara because if I hadn't had this on my side chart, I would not have known where to turn here. Yeah, this one taking a nice little marathon to the upside. One thing that did terrify me was this big red candle, but I said to Dara, you keep seeing these bounce off the 9 EMA. Give it like literally 5 pennies. Yeah, I'm only giving myself 5 pennies here. I got it in 1950. If we break below 1945, I am getting out. We got to 1948 and then we bounced right back up. This is a scalp play. If we can't break above this, make a higher high here at this 1960 area, I'm getting out. I don't mind taking 10 pennies. And you know what? If we take 57s, we'll be pleased as punch here. Scalp Nation, it is always scalp season for me. Summer, winter, fall, or spring, I will be scalping. So let's see. That actually rhymed, which was not intended. But let's see what happens on this Mara. Let's take a look at IBIT as well. I like some of these crypto names. I find for whatever reason, since I've gone live, I've really enjoyed trading these. Yeah, IBIT, also nice bounce off the 9 EMA, but don't love these wicks here. These wicks to me a little bit bearish. Then again, a lot of things have looked a certain way or looked like it's going to reverse or seem to be X, Y, Z and then not come to fruition. So I don't want to make any assumptions here. I will not guess. I will only see what these charts take me. You have to take what they're showing you because these markets are certainly in a little bit of a mood. Earnings season, absolutely in full swing. The Shim King saying, but Boeing has come into the last 7-day range on the daily, bottoming. Oh, let's see what that looks like on Boeing. Yeah, Boeing falling to the downside is definitely not a joke. It's a very real concern as of late. It's something that did actually impact Boeing's earnings as well with regards to what's going to happen there with its recovery after the 737 MAX situation. That was discussed during its earnings report released this morning. But yeah, this Boeing, we had this little green candle here at 169 area. Maybe we were going to make a high, continue to try here. Then we fall to the downside. And we top and turn here for a good while. How long was this? 11:35 to about, well, something like an hour and a half here, trying to pop back up. Now, what will we do at 169? I'm looking at two levels. 169, because that was below that 9 EMA. That was where we looked like we could have turned around and didn't. I like 169, but more importantly, I love that 170.50 area. I mentioned this earlier when someone was asking about Boeing. To me, if you're going to see any kind of reversal, or if you're in a downtrend trying to look to see if we're moving up, you always want to see what you do with these key support resistance levels. To me, Boeing 169 and 170.50 are absolutely going to be two levels that I want to see for sure. Also, Mara is on the NQ and not the NY. But Mara breaking higher here. I got my 7 pennies and I was pleased as punch. And Mara's like, oh, but Adara, you could have stayed a little bit longer. But it's like, Mara, that's not my type of trade. I took my 7 pennies. I'm happy with it. And we're going to have to see if it gives me another opportunity to play this range. I'll play it to the upside, but I'm not going to take this thing short right now. I just think the way that we're trying to continue to build to the upside, that beautiful bounce off the 9 EMA, I want to be absolutely cautious and wait and see what is to occur. Yeah, I don't have any other trades right now here. Just watching.
I can take over. Yeah.
Slightly down in the day, about like the amount of like a McDonald's coffee or something. But happy I took some risky trades, at least risky for me, because I think you do learn from everything.
Yeah, look, let's call a spade a spade. Got caught up on these last couple of trades, especially the softy one and the Tesla one. They kind of slapped me in the face a little bit there. But we are rejecting for the moment off VWAP on the future. So I don't want to really beat a dead horse and try to keep going after the same short when the market is telling you long. But, I'm not going to take any trades until we've either cleared decisively 17.7 and VWAP, which are awfully close together, or we've rejected it because I feel like I don't have a right read on the market. Believe it or not, I'm still looking short softy. I see topping tail candles come in at 409.5, and I'm like, okay, great. Yeah, let's VWAP reject on the future and VWAP reject on softy. So I'm going to get myself out of that short only mentality and start looking the direction of the market. So we'll see if we can get above VWAP and 17.7. AV, Sharif, are you taking that Intel short at VWAP? I didn't even have eyes on Intel, but I do see here that the government-funded company is getting a nice pump up into volume-weighted average price up 1 1/3. No, I just say that, obviously tongue-in-cheek. You guys.
It's just funny that you always deliver it with the same casual vibe, like you're just throwing it out there.
Well, our favorite pseudo fan, Neil, is his team is playing today. I know, he's like, yo, bro, I'm trying to enjoy my music while I have some time off. Why are you calling my name? Shout out to Neil. Liverpool plays today, and anybody who watched the Prem yesterday watched a shellacking by Arsenal of Chelsea, 5-0. It was whooping. And obviously, I'm going to be cheering for Liverpool to lose today because we are competing with them for the Prem as well as City. 1 game in hand against Liverpool. Now we got 2 games in hand on City. Obviously, Citi, I like that. I like playing the games before your competitors because it puts the pressure on them to have to win. You're done and dusted all your games. You won. There's nothing for you to worry about. Now they have to win to kind of keep up with you. So I like the fact that we had a couple of games on them here. And, yeah, put the pressure back on them. But to answer your question, AV, no, I'm not looking at Intel. Well, now I am, Ram, as we are at that $34.85 level. That is where VWAP is. But I feel like I've been scolded by VWAP retracement trades vis-a-vis Softy today, and I don't feel like I'm in for another scolding. So I'm going to stay clear on this, again, until we either break or reject 17.7 and the volume weighted average price on the NQ June contract. I just want to see which way this market is resolving. Obviously, it looks like it's curling up, but yeah, I don't know about you, and maybe it's not fair to ask you at this stage because you're still newerish, but once I feel like I'm short bias on the day, it's hard for me to hit that button and just switch to long bias. Same thing goes for long bias. If I'm long bias on the day, it's hard for me just to switch short. And that's my problem, not nobody else's, obviously. I need to be able to work on that a little bit better. When the market's showing you long, go long. Don't keep looking for the same thing. Have you had that experience?
I was just thinking about that, actually, and that's what happened with NVIDIA, and it might have actually been a mistake here. NVDL, I know I kept trying to take these shorts here, and then I was like, you know what, Adara, try to go for the long. We're at that previous area of resistance, which could form to support that 32.80. You saw that. Okay, now it's actually working out. We're going to change our exit here. But yeah, so that's what I mean is because I didn't want, I was like, you know, Adara, we did it these little candles, which scared me. They could be kind of bearish, these little wicks to the upside. I was like, but you know what, Adara, we're still seeing higher highs, higher lows. We're seeing that bounce off that 32.80 area. Take a risk. Take a shot. So I did. I was really happy to get involved here, and I want 33s. I want the 33s here. I want all of the smoke on this NVDL. We're going to have to wait and see. Maybe I should have just kept my order there at 97s, but I wanted to be a skosh more ambitious and see what this market gives. I was going to be risking probably into 70s. I was risking about 10 pennies, trying to make minimum 10 pennies. I'm okay with that risk reward. We're going to try to get out 98s. I think I probably should have scalped it earlier. Oh, Adira. Again, just not scalping when you need to scalp. But that's okay. You know what? And that's the biggest thing I've learned from the live is I'm just not scalping enough because I'm like, it's different when it's real money, right? Sometimes you're like, oh, I could get a few more pennies on that. But it's like, if that's not the way you're playing, and if you know you could be counter trade with all that rejection we had, you need to be cognizant of that. I am a little bit disappointed in myself for not scalping there. A little bit sad. We're still okay. We're still up. I don't know what that voice was. Sound like Mickey Mouse. But you know what? It is what it is, and I made the decision I made, and I have to live with that. And we're still like a couple pennies in the money here. We could still bounce back, and we're going to be a lot more ready now when NVDL comes. We're not waiting for that 33 break. What's a 33 break? We want what we can get. And that is, and this is the thing too, is every time I scalp less, the market is always like, Adara, what are you doing? So if the market's going to keep telling me that, I need to keep scalping more. I am very disappointed in myself for how that went down. I should have just kept my order there for 32.97s. We'd be out. We'd be like 15 pennies in the money instead of wanting, an extra 2 pennies and losing on that trade. But that's okay. We're still in it. We're still good till we get to 70s. That was a little bit of a slap in the face.
That's okay. I'm not taking plenty of those today.
Yeah, good time.
17.7 just came in on the future. 17.697, not really rejecting it with any vigor. We're at it at the moment. And wow. Yeah, everything's on the way to the north side here. Even the dead one, AAPL, about 10 pennies off the high a day right now. 169.28 is the high. We're printing 12.13s or thereabouts. Tesla still south of VWAP, and the last time Tesla made it up into VWAP, it was a nice rejection. We took that one short. VWAP on my chart, 162 currently. Now, there's some other stuff that's rejecting. It's not all sunshine and rainbows in Mag 7 world at the moment. You had a big red candle come in there on Meta at 494 at the 50 period, and look at that. It just dropped $4. It tanked off 493.88 all the way down into 490 and change there. Nice rejection off the 50 period, not an area that I had earmarked, to be honest. So I wouldn't have taken that trade. I was looking more at 496 because that's where VWAP is, and that's where yesterday's closing print was. So I felt that was a better area for the short. Alas, the market doesn't care about where I feel the better area for the short is. Down goes Meta. Let's see if it can break that 4.9 area. In addition to that, look at this topping tail candle being put on Amazon at the 50 period as well. So it looks like they're, for the moment, rejecting that 177.50, pushing this one back down into 177.25. So there could still be shorts at play, especially since we didn't clear 17.7, a bit of a topping tail candle also on the future here. You wouldn't know it if you looked at Google, Microsoft, and Apple. They're all still headed to the upside here. Oh, wow. This is a really tough day to trade. At least it is in the afternoon anyway. Wow, okay. So now all of a sudden, now we're not getting VWAP rejections. We seem to be getting 50 period rejections on some of these Mag 7 names. I'm looking specifically at Meta and Amazon, both of which rejected off the 50 period, as well as NVIDIA. Look at this move into 818 at the 50 period, moves $4 down. So the 50 period is in vogue right now for the Mag 7, not sure why. And I don't think we've given up the ghost at 17.7 either. I mean, you have a topping tail candle in there, but you're not getting aggressive selling. So, wow, I think I personally still think the longs are in. Yeah, interesting look here. Wow, Google just printed higher. Okay, so what would be good to go long here? This is interesting. Okay. Well, I'm just going to stay put, to be honest with you. I'm not going to get long anything because I feel like I haven't had the right read on the market. But, yeah, interesting. Everything's curling up here.
Yeah, I had to get out of that NVDL because it was like, you know what, Adara, you messed up the timing. You should have scalped. You didn't scalp. And it's like, I don't know why I need the market to remind me once a day that I am a scalper. I know I'm a scalper. I identify as a scalper. If I like scalps, I should be taking scalps. I have just said the word scalp way too many times in the last minute, but that's okay. And now we're getting long again because I see what I like. I wanted that bounce off 70s. We didn't have it initially. That's why I got out. But we're having it again. So it's like, Adara, get the heck back into the trade. We should be, we're one at 71s. We should be there. There we go. We're getting 71s. We're going to be taking this into 89s if we get it. That's about 20 pennies. If we break below 60s, I'm out. I'm happy with this. I'm sorry, I'm speaking very quickly, but these markets are moving with a viciousness. And I'm trying to match their intensity there. What else? I don't really have a view on much else. I've just been watching this NVDL here. This Mara, we'll kind of have to see a bit below that 9 EMA. We know I like that 50s area because I took that 50 area long. I like that support. If we resist 50s, if we reject here, that could be a little bit of a spicy short opportunity for me. But I don't have a read on it yet, so I'm definitely going to be a bit more of a wait and see. NVIDIA trying to run back to the upside, so definitely she can do her thing, 21. I'd be pleased as punch about that. But you're right, I've also noticed, because I use the 9 EMA, you use the 10 EMA, and there is an interesting relationship that these Mag 7 related names have had with those levels. Someone is punching his fist, so I know Sharif is definitely having a good time there with Meta. It doesn't look like a small move there. How is your Meta going?
It was good. We just took like almost $1 in like a second there. So nice move up on META. Thank you, Patty Ice. BPI. Shout out to BPI, baby. Always good vibes, BPI. We know the Katina man is good vibes, but trust me, I'm talking to BPI a lot. And he's got a lot of good advice, too. Anytime you need life advice, I feel like BPI is one of the go-to people to bounce stuff off. Shout out to Big Patty Ice. Apple is at day's highs. Apple just printed a new high a day, but now we could be looking for a possible double top in this vicinity. So 169 and a third, 169.29 to be exact. And this is a random area to find an area of resistance. So I didn't chart this area, quite frankly, and I did chart Apple yesterday. I didn't anticipate that we would have this kind of move. Now that we've had this move today, I'm going to have in my mind the 170 rejection tomorrow. That is, of course, unless 170 comes in today. And we exhaust that play today. So we'll keep eyes on that. Big Kyle Burdett, Adara doing her, the Austin Powers mole. Do you remember this from Austin Powers 3?
I have only seen part of the one where he raps.
Oh, yeah, that is 3.
One.
No, that is 2.
That
Hold
is 2, okay.
Which one am I? I'm talking about 3, yeah, 3.
That's one with Beyonce, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
I
where they have a mole.
Okay, then I've seen part of that one as well, but I don't know that scene.
He's like mole, because the guy has a mole on his lip, and he can't stop saying mole.
Oh, I have.
But the guy's an actual mole as well,
what?
so he's a spy and he has a mole. Yeah, it was
That's
like
good.
right down your alley.
That's
I figured
classic.
you'd know that. Yeah.
It's like puns on puns on puns. Thank you for that, Kyle Burdett, and thank you, Sharif, for explaining it to me.
That's one of my favorite movie series. Anyway, Michael Myers and I share the same birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's Canadian.
Yes, he is.
So
So I like Michael Myers.
That's That's cool.
You know one thing I haven't actually watched though, Michael Myers related? Wayne's World.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't watched the series of Wayne's World. I definitely want to do that because like I like a lot of his stuff. Guys, Google's skyrocketing here. I don't know what's going on with the goggles, but it's on its way into that 159. We're about 20 pennies away from high a day right now. That was one hell of a retracement on Google, especially because it kept rejecting off VWAP or the yesterday's closing print at 158 and a quarter. Didn't matter. It didn't matter that it had done it in the past. It's on its way up. It looks like it may come into that 159 area. We're only like 15 pennies away from that now. On the day, though, 159.01 has been a resistance level. That is the high of day. So that whole dollar area acting as a level of resistance. So we'll keep eyes on that. And we also haven't cleared 17.7, which is probably why we're on the way down on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the one that's retracing down at the moment. While we're seeing strength in a lot of other names, I'm talking about Softy, literally everything else is curling up except NVIDIA. It looks like it's on its way down to 810 again, 811 and a half Federa. So we'll keep eyes on that going into the afternoon. But yeah, keep your eye out on Softy or in goggles for 159. That could be interesting. I would say also keep your eye on 496 or thereabouts on Meta. We had a consolidation bottom there earlier, and it's also where VWAP and yesterday's closing print is. If it does break above the 50, we took a dip trade on Meta there not too long ago. Let's see what everybody else is talking about here in the chat as we don't have that much time left. Oh, wow. Thomas Allred, Boy Meets World, grew up and into his mole. Yep. Topanga. Yeah, I was a big fan of Topanga's growing up. Anybody who knows Boy Meets World knows exactly what I'm talking about there. Yes, Ram. Let's see what else we got over here. The Skips 8. You've got to watch Wayne's World tonight. Yes, sir. No, I really will actually put that on the list. I do like Mike Myers, so I want to watch Wayne's World for sure. Let's see what else people are talking about here. Big Kyle. NVIDIA short is helping me hang into the SPY short attempt. Hard stop at 506.75. You heard it from the mouth himself, Big Cal Burdett.
Yeah, shout out to Cal Burdett, and congrats on your NVIDIA short. Honestly, the longs didn't work out, but I'm so happy I got out where I did here.
Nice.
Like, I got it. We broke below 60s. I said I have to leave. And NVIDIA's like, yeah, I mean, bye-bye. We're going to continue to the downside. I tried to flip short on this, but I couldn't flip it fast enough. And that's one thing I need to work on, is if I have levels I like, and this is generally something I like to do. If I want to play it one way and it doesn't work, I'm okay with playing it the other way. But I just don't think my fingers are fast enough as of this point, or I'm not fast enough with the keys to be able to take advantage of those moves. So that's going to be my bucket list thing. The other thing I want to keep in mind is it's one thing to have ideas that you like, and it's another to be able to execute them properly. So this NVDL, if I had just scalped out of this, we would have been fine, and I probably wouldn't have tried to take this trade again. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing, is just Adara. One thing is having levels you like going in, but also make sure you have your levels you like going out. You should have just scalped. And again, as I said earlier, the market should not have to remind me that I'm a scalper every single day. So hopefully this will be the last time. You know, market, tomorrow I'm going to come in. I'm going to have all those orders ready. You just wait. I don't know what. I am giving an ultimatum to the market. But, you know, I'm going to still be here tomorrow. You're going to still be here tomorrow, market. And I'm ready to take you on with a viciousness. Let's go toe-to-toe. But overall, slightly down in the day. Better day than yesterday, though, by far. I think I managed my trades a lot better. I was involved in a lot less. And I'm definitely happy that I'm just taking the opportunity to take every trade I feel confidently in as I continue to learn. Absolutely. Love it. Let's point out a couple of things here before we send it off to the big kahunas. I want to mention this top on Apple right now, 169.29. We just came into that level again. Down we go into that general 169 single digits. Let's see if this ends up manifesting into a real double top, or we just get like a momentary pullback off the previous high. That's number one. Number two, look at goggles right into 159 again. So the same thing we were talking about with respect to Apple. I'm talking about here with Google, 159.01 HOD. We're printing 97s or 96s. Now look for a possible rejection off that level that could come in. And Tesla is at VWAP right now, so we'll have to wait and see how that resolves. Last time around, Tesla was at VWAP. It did reject and dropped about $5. Last couple of things, Meta and Amazon are having issues with the 50 period in the same way that NVIDIA is having issues with the 50 period. I'm talking about the 50 period EMA on the 5. That's specifically what I'm talking about. And then
Softy looks like it's on its way back up, breaking through now the whole dollar at 410 a day. It is now 2 o'clock.
It is 2 o'clock. We'll see you tomorrow with more bull flag action. Same bat time, same bat channel. For now, though, we have Brendan.
See you guys.
Big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, Randy's here. It's 2 o'clock, busy afternoon to tell you about here. Lots going on. Yields back to day highs right now, putting a little bit of pressure back in the market. Just having a look at the 30-year and another monitor here. 4.8%. Unfortunately, don't have Frank this week. He's on vacation, but there's a lot going on in FX land. The yen 34-year levels for the yen coming into play. I was reading at lunchtime as well. There's the dollar a little bit higher right now, but it was lower to start the day, 2 days in a row for the dollar back downside. Tesla we'll get into here. Randy and I just talking about what happened last night a little bit and what is to come. It's been an interesting day. It tests lower initially and then back higher, and now we're kind of just chopping around for Tesla, but lots and lots of opportunity. I wanted to point out that it's tough to see, but that's Uber down there, 2.5% downside for Uber today on the taxi note or line from the call last night. NVIDIA under a little bit of pressure. Netflix 3.7%. Meta as well in the red. Very, very mixed board right now, right across the entire market, which typically means, and we are basically flat, 0.5% upside for the NASDAQ, S&P, dead flat at the moment. I was watching this. TDoc popped up. A little bit of a short side on this. There was a note from Bank of America, a positive note from Bank of America about TDoc regarding UNH. So apparently UNH, long story short, basically got rid of or scrapped plans for their own in-house version of Teladoc. So that was benefiting TDoc a little bit. Market itself trying to bounce here, yeah, all eyes on Tesla coming off earnings, treasury yields, as I mentioned, back to the upside. Yen 34-year lows. So we'll pick Frank's brain about FX land coming up on Tuesday when he's back from much-deserved vacation for Mr. Caberna. Tesla, meanwhile, guys, we started off the morning touching on this report. So much to unpack in this. The move comes after the close yesterday. We hold, this pre-market level anyways, initially this morning for support, back to the upside right now. But where was the opportunity here today?
Well, the opportunity was we're bound, and we actually, we're looking net short. We talked about that all day. I don't have any, and I even said this, I would have no longs, but the longs have just equally been as fantastic as the shorts. Early short, boom, started off of that high, right? I feel like that's what I'm going to do for all these earnings plays now. Wait for them to sort of give us an idea of what it wants to do. It did it, and it did it great. I mean, we were short 164. That out right there is 160. But then it started to rip up, and we actually got punched out there once we broke the high of the day. Then we just said, you know what? Let's go and just slow down a little bit. Reference the sticky note. We had written down there 168 as where we wanted to rock and roll. So we averaged up into it. Lucky enough that it came up there. When it hits here, no problem, Randy. When it hits your levels, then you got to be there for it. So it hit it. We were there for it. We'll talk about Roblox. We actually lost on Roblox. Same kind of a trade. Came into our levels and we gave it up. There it goes, boom. Look at this retest 50 period, retest VWAP. Like this retest at VWAP is 163. That out is at the bottom of the day again at 150. It's another $5. So, I mean, we've done really well here on Tesla. We just averaged in again here at 162. And as you can see, we're starting to take some more out here at 160, 150. So it's been a blast of a day trading this name. Like I said, it's P&L 1. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here on the floor. There's nothing else that's even close. Tesla is the big dog here today. Earnings season's here. And I'm just excited for this because, again, a good play off of some key levels. And like we mentioned, you could get the longs in this name as well. Play, and I was just going to shout out, actually, my friend there at Tim Hortons. Thank you so much for the kind service. I just tweeted this out, and you might have just heard Randy mention it as well. That didn't go out, actually. I'll have to see why that didn't get sent out. But just a big thank you to our friends at Tim's there. He was asking me if we traded Tesla today. And I said, yes. Yes, we have. Good trade here. Comes back in. We're short Tesla again, another 80 cents.
Yeah, I got a few positions on just now, but nothing that wasn't already discussed in the midday.
Oh, it's a daily occurrence.
Not muted.
I'm not.
Oh,
I wasn't. I don't know about
questioning
that.
his integrity.
I don't know about that. Anyways, I thought, like, Randy was on the desk. We opened with Tesla. That was a kind of a bit of a fake out there because I just assumed Randy was actually gonna.
Yeah.
Because Randy, look, man, Randy knows his stuff. He actually has a lot to say about Tesla and sort of where they're headed and the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the in between. He talks about Rivian, a little Faraday future every now and then. That's our automotive specialist. So, psych. Sorry about that. Tesla, we always talk about like having entries, exits. When this was trading, let me zoom out for a little. When this was trading in the morning, I was basically of the mind that I liked it short if we could press into 170. If I didn't think I was getting out till past the 170 level, this close up here is like 172.50. I was waiting at 69.44, very specifically. I mean, look, 69.5, I just don't like putting in 50, so I put in 44. And then to the downside, I liked 154. It ends up not really having, it didn't have the range that I was expecting, which is, you know, I just thought it would be a little bit bigger. I thought if it pressed up, it was pressing up into 170. It didn't get there, so that was a miss. But I did trade. I'm back into Rivian, which we had early off of the, like Rivian tried to break down. Well, it did break down $9, and it tried to hold breaking back above 9. I shorted back into the 915 level off 910s. Reload here is actually at VWAP, so it looks like it's out in the middle of nowhere on Rivian. But there was a sympathy bounce that all these other stocks had for Tesla. Look, Tesla missed every single metric that anything that you measure in an earnings report was bad. Then they came out with the robo-taxi. I guess the demonstration of the app, like it was just like 5 different panels, and it's like this is what it will look like when it's out there, and it was just normal ride-hailing app. And then on top of that, they said Model 2 is coming. So that's great. Those are all concepts in the future, none of which I thought made any sense to be gapping up the other EV names. So we're shorting that pop. This trade is, you've probably guessed it, shorting a trend trade back into VWAP. So I think every trade I have on right now, Rivian short back into VWAP with the trend, ARM short back VWAP into trend, Intel short VWAP back into trend, and BABA is a long VWAP back into trend. This afternoon brought to you by VWAP, VWAP retracement trends.
Yes.
Like how many times, in the afternoon show, how many times do you hear this? Like let's try not to overtrade, wait for the specific setups. And then the most common one is joining a trend that was already working and then reloading it at VWAP. I don't think there's an afternoon trade I have more. You know, actually, it's not that I know for a fact there isn't an afternoon trade. I'm talking second half of the day. It doesn't have to be in power hour or anything. Just, I mean, after like 12, 1 o'clock. That's probably the most common setup for me. Tesla, it didn't quite get to my levels. I don't think they're out of the water yet. Like I already dollar cost averaged once at 150, and I'm not doing so again, I don't think, for a bit. I'll give it a heartbeat, if not even like maybe a quarter.
All right, we were touching on this NVIDIA. There was a couple of different angles this morning. That run AI. We sat down this morning when we came on. It was not yet a done deal. By the time the market opened, it seemed to be a done deal. It was just a software firm that they bought on the AI side of things for their chips. But sell the news kind of a day here for NVDA after 2 back-to-back to the upside.
Yeah, we had a quick defend of 800 as well. That was in play for a while on NVIDIA. The big headline yesterday came on the Tesla earnings call when Elon said he's upping the amount of H100s he wants to buy from NVIDIA from 35,000 into 85,000. As well, he made no mention of AMD's MI300, and that was a change because he said specifically that he was going to diversify in both GPUs. So supposedly a good look for NVIDIA, but it sold off.
Overall, the chip group, not as strong as it has been over the past couple of days, but we are starting to bounce, as we were mentioning. Right now, this part of the show brought to you by our friends at Alfonso AI. Their adaptive AI predicts the best times to buy and sell stocks, helping you increase your odds on generating alpha. Join now, get 50% off on the Pro monthly subscription using code TRADER50. Scan the QR code and download the app now.
Oh, this is cool. What up, Frank in the chat? Frank S. Hi, I saw you at Wellesley Station yesterday afternoon. Well, I'm probably there every single day at some point because I do take the subway. That's how I roll. I mean, you can probably say what's up. It happens every now and then. I was walking through the Go Station. No. Was I coming from a Jays game?
Yeah, Union
And
Station.
ran Union Station. That's what I'm like. What am I doing? I was walking through Union and actually met a viewer of the show. Yeah, you can always say what's up. If it's, I guarantee I probably had my headphones on and was, like it was like yesterday was Tesla earnings, so I know for a fact that I was on my phone, kind of seeing what was happening on the way on the train home. But NVIDIA, at least we got arm short. That's all I can say for NVIDIA. I was going to hit the fail on, but at the end of the day, we talked about this. Like you have your levels, you try to be patient for them. It really did feel at the open that this was going to give you a press into 150. And given that last week, that's where everything fell apart, I felt like you'd already made that move back in, and 850 should have been an obvious short. I think that's the clear level. Anybody can see 850. I was willing to give it to 852, but I wasn't willing to short 839 and give it to 852. That's just a little bit too much of a risk. So when that didn't come in for me, I pivoted to ARM, which I knew I liked. ARM at the same levels did reject 103. We got the lower high on ARM down here, 1s and 2s. It flushed all the way down into 98. I'm back in it off of VWAP at 100. It just happens that VWAP is right at 100. That's just a happy coincidence. It doesn't really mean anything. It is what it is. And then the other one that we're in is Intel. Intel, we knew everything was breaking out, so we let it break yesterday's levels and waited for it to get into 35 and 35 and a quarter. This lower high is once again VWAP. So we shorted a couple of other names, but NVIDIA, that story, I mean, I don't really know anything about that company they're buying, to be honest with you. Or yeah, I don't know anything about it. I know it's good news when Tesla is obviously spending money with NVIDIA, but everybody is. I don't think that's a big deal right now. Everyone's going to want to see how much growth they've got, right? Because they always need to blow it out of the water if they're going to go up on earnings. Expectations are going to be sky high because they always are for NVIDIA. So that 850 is a short. If you had it, great. I'm actually more upset about missing the 800 level, to be honest, because 850 didn't get to 850, but 800, I mean, it got to 800. That's, if it doesn't get to your level, you shouldn't be upset. But if it does bounce off a key level and you don't trade it, but I don't know, like I was a little distracted with HCP, and it doesn't matter. That was a miss. Yeah. 800 was a miss.
Like I said, when you're sitting here trading and, you know, we can always go over things. It is easy sometimes to look back and see those levels, but while you're trading, it can be hard to pick them off. I don't have any of these names today whatsoever, but I don't see Apple on there. So I was short Apple early, and remember, we were okay on this. We actually wound up losing on Apple. Apple's now positive for us here today. We have one red name, and it'll be Roblox, and we'll talk about that when we get back off this rundown. But we shorted Apple early, negative. Then it came up here, and honestly, you see this was such a huge move with a little bit of a wick top. And I was right here on the midday show with Sharif and Adara, and I said, I'm going short. And we shorted Apple right there. So that was the midday play, you know, give it to you guys live. That went from 169 all the way down to 168. That's $1. We spun the dollar club for you. Then it just ripped all the way back up, and I did the exact same thing again. So now we're short again here on Apple. So yeah, this name, you know, often we have very complicated lessons that we go through. We try to make them very, very simple for you, but you can really complicate your trading life. What's made my life a hell of a lot easier is just making things simple. So keep it simple, stupid, and sometimes it can be just this simple. Apple's another one of those today. Let's go talk about Boeing. I thought Boeing was heading to the downside, actually, last time I checked it out.
It just had there was more news on it.
All right, let's go back over to the desk.
Boeing 52-week lows right now, essentially. 3% downside at this point. If you haven't looked at it for a while, it was much higher in the pre-market off their report. But Moody's just coming out, downgrading the company's senior unsecured rating from Baa2 to Baa3, whatever that means, but clearly negative. Big flush there for Boeing.
Yeah, it's not the look that you want to get after your earnings report, and I think that this one was definitely set for today after earnings. Here's what Moody's said. The downgrade reflects inadequate performance of Boeing's commercial airplane segment. They also went on to say that the negative outlook incorporates a view that the headwinds buffeting commercial airplanes are going to last well into 2026 before they can get it right, Brendo. Not what you want to hear.
This chart is ugly and increasing volume as we try to hold on to 160, what is that, 164 right now? 3% now, guys, for Boeing.
Yeah, I dodged a bullet with Boeing today. I could have used another pun or another analogy. I'm not going to. Like, at the end of the day, no, I mean, this thing, it's a dumpster fire. Yeah, like it's, oh, the stock is crash landing. But I wasn't even joking when I've simply said, I think you can just wait for this stock to not have bad news for a couple, just to give me a 2-week period where there isn't like really bad news on the stock. And then maybe you start looking for a bottom on Boeing. And clearly, if they're downgrading your debt, like that's not good. That's another piece of bad. The stock was already getting crushed on earnings after the loss was smaller than expected. They showed signs of turning the corner. I did not leave it at one and done. I went 1 for 3 on it. Thankfully, risk to reward being what it is and having relatively reasonable stops, that's what saves you at the end of the day. And maybe I could have gone for it a 4th time and I would have had the bounce back into VWAP, but my plan of action was not to be trading into the into the call, and the call was at 10:30, so I stopped. So I didn't get that. If the call wasn't there, I'd probably try to take it a 4th time and it would have worked, but my rule of thumbs didn't want to get trapped in the call. So eventually, you have to give up a trade when it's not working for you. That's the difference between winning and losing. At the end of the day, it's how do you manage your losing trades, and do you keep them reasonable? And we got in and out for a scalp trade the first time, but then every single time I went in, adhered to my stop level, went in, adhered to my stop level, and just did not try to fight. I went for my bounce. But you can't fight at something forever. This is just, it's a mess now. What, it's flat bottom breaking, it's fresh lows. Like, I don't know, like, how far am I gonna have to pull this chart back out before we even see some levels on it? And is there even a point? And I don't think there is, because it's not gonna be about levels for Boeing. It's gonna be about not having bad news continually hit them. That's it. I'm a shareholder of the stock. Thankfully, not as much as I had a year ago, but I also had a great chance to sell at 260 and was gonna put that money into GE. That would have been nice.
Yeah, I want to buy more NVIDIA. That's about it. Okay, so right down here, we are going to run it again. It's 50 cents in the money. It's Apple. It's still going. It's fabulous, and it's fantastic. All right, Boeing. Look, Neil just talked all about it. I don't actually have that much to say about it other than what Neil just mentioned there. We had already gotten credit. I want to thank you guys for that. When we had talked about this on the podcast and live on the show up here, 2:30, when we had this gap fill there on the doors falling off and various Procter & Gamble products being used to quality assurance tests and things like that, you started to go to the downside of dish soap and whatnot. Like, that was a problem. So I feel like there was an easy way. No, I don't want another one, I told you. Okay, thank you. So the guy, I gave all the credit to the guy, Tim Hortons. He gave me the milk, or gave you the milk and me the cream. So now I'm mad.
Where'd my mug?
All right, we are now, Randy, we are now part of the infamous club that we've been a member of many, many times today. But down goes Tesla, again, even further. Off of that top, another shout out to my guy, Brian Shannon, who killed it last night on what show? The Market Recap Show, where what? Where real traders stay late, baby. Thank you, Randy, for that. And there it was again, man. We were talking all about VWAP. And yeah, I asked for examples. We teach. We do all of that every single day on the Market Recap Show. We get tomorrow's trade today. So watch out for that tonight. A new segment, part of Market Recap Show. Join Adara and myself on the desk there afterwards. But all right, so Boeing, not much happening there. I went long on Roblox here earlier today. This was the one that we wrote down at 35.50. It actually came to 35.50 right there. It already bounced off of it a couple times. We averaged it in and was going to give it 20 pennies, and that's what we did. And when it broke down, and then it came down into 35, and I was like, let's try 35. And we tried that a couple times, and then that broke, and then there's a 34.97 out. So all in all, we'll lose about 50 cents on basically 2 reloads. So Roblox is a negative stock for me today, down 4 and a bit. I'm buying this name at some point. Again, I feel like earnings are what's going to lead the way here. And we've already raised capital by selling some Google, which is a mistake, and selling some Meta, which is about flat. So I'm waiting for a couple more moves to the downside, and especially a flush in Uber to see what that happens. You know what would be really funny? When this guy potentially changes his mind on some of the timelines, then I really think that Tesla could crash. I was thinking about that. I might just get out of all of my Tesla because I think this is a story for many years down the road. All that Elon has to come out and say is that his timeline for these robo-taxis is like 2026, and this thing is down 40%.
Well, that's a guarantee. When was the last time that Elon Musk set a timeline that they actually hit?
I don't know. That's why I'm thinking about it.
I actually can't think of a time. So like that's why like my approach is, you know, like I won't even consider another buy until at least one more quarter. That's it. Like maybe it's next year, maybe it's next quarter. I'm kind of thinking it like I was going to put money into Intel, and now I'm like, I'm not even thinking about that till the end of the year. Maybe we'll change our minds. I think Tesla's kind of into that bucket. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, I mean, I like them long term, and if your time horizon's ever, then it doesn't always matter too much. But I'm with you. Like I sold some Eli Lilly yesterday, and when I do that, I'm always itching to get it back into the markets. But sometimes you just got to be a little more patient. Let's talk about China. And I didn't only put on BABA just because the topic, and I don't think any of us traded Chinese ADR.
Yeah, 2-3 days now in a row. Nice look for some of these Chinese ADRs. Really wasn't anything specific outside of the EV angle we were touching on this morning. Some of the Chinese ADR EVs higher on the Tesla report. But here's Alibaba. There's 3 days now. We just took out the highs as well. So, I mean, it hasn't been a huge range, but nice and steady to the upside here.
Yeah, UBS really leading the way here, Brendo, upgrading China to overweight, basically saying the following. They like, one, the interventions from the states, from the state there, pumping funds into the economy. They like that. They also like the positive surprises in dividends and buybacks from local firms over there. So that's the reason there for the upgrade. And yeah, you saw MSCI up earlier today.
Not all of them, it's worth noting, not all of them performing as well. JD, nice day, came back in a little bit. PDD, basically back to where we ended yesterday in the aftermarket. But still, overall, guys, he's still looking pretty strong.
China. Yeah, we had Alibaba written down on here. That was the only name that we were ever going to trade. We wrote down 73. Unfortunately, the bottom. I mean, it's like I chose this one, and I chose Roblox to mess with because it came into the level. I probably should have looked at Alibaba, but I like them both equally, so just messed up on Roblox. But this Alibaba held at 73.50, so off to the races. I mean, we most recently bought this at 71.85. We had talked about that. We posted it when we did it. It had gone up for us, then back down, and then, you know, in that demolishing moment there on Thursday, Friday, we did touch below 70 and into 68. So what a good level there to have been bought up by. But yeah, I still like Alibaba. I think it wins, and I think this is a hold for a very long time. So I want to be averaging into Alibaba. I really like the trade, but I'm not in it right now. But we are in right now. Tesla and Apple both starting to head to the downside. I think this market sells off again. Maybe I'll get involved with the NASDAQ pretty soon.
Yeah, there haven't been many longs. I'm trying to, did I long anything else? There was the Boeing. We all know how that went. We just talked about it. And then there was Alibaba. And look, Alibaba didn't dip into the levels you wanted, but every single day that it's had an up day, I'm pulling the 3-minute chart out instead of going to the 15 because it's just easier. In the afternoon, dip off of VWAP and makes a fresh high. It doesn't necessarily go really far. Like that's 68.70 into 69.40. So you get about 40 cents out of it. In the afternoon, it's above VWAP, doesn't quite get there, but it does make a fresh high. It does give you VWAP earlier yesterday, like right in here at about 11, and then kind of makes a fresh new high and pulls back. Today was a little bit tighter where it held the bottom. You can see it, like it breaks VWAP, then it consolidates off VWAP. Like it gives you this trade. Like it breaks VWAP, there's a consolidation, breaks consolidation in here, took 74.03. Underneath VWAP is 73.90, so you got about 10 cents worth of risk. Takes them out at 1-to-1 and 2-to-1, then it makes a fresh high. I'll get out at 74.50. Like this isn't an upward trend. And on the daily chart, it doesn't look like anything special on the daily, but this is now 3 days in a row of pretty solid up days on Alibaba. And the last time it did something like this, it got to 77, 78 and turned around. So why can't it at least get to 76, 77 this time through? So Alibaba on a decent run. It's the only one I looked at just because we were saying Li Auto's probably a short. Li Auto never got anywhere near the level we wanted to short it this morning. But it's a flat bottom break. Not all ADRs are up. We made the distinction. Try to separate the Chinese ADRs being up with Li Auto, which has broken major support, and only going the other direction. I don't know where the bottom is going to be for this one, but it sat out a lot of the move down that NIO and XPeng had. So if it's playing a little bit of catch up, I don't think you want to catch this falling knife yet.
Afterwards?
No.
We were just touching on the TikTok updates. Yeah, the CEO actually came out after that announcement that Biden had gone ahead and signed the bill and basically said, we're not going anywhere. Like, they're going to fight this in courts. It's going to take a long, long time for this to have any sort of resolution. But it was open and straight to the downside here for Meta today. We were talking about Meta on this note this morning. Straight southbound all day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a sell the news kind of event today. We tried to take multiple opportunities on Meta, but it was a bit of a tougher trade. Here is what TikTok is saying with respect to challenging the current legislation. They are going to challenge it on First Amendment grounds, and there is precedent for that. There was a judge in Montana last year that allowed that to proceed. In addition to that, the American Civil Liberties Union coming out and saying this sets an alarming global precedent for excessive government control over social media platforms. I think that this is going to be subject to the details of the legislation. Does it give them willy-nilly power, or is this specific to the current circumstances? We have years before we find out. Probably.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. Snap was the same, worth noting. Open just went straight downside all day.
Lawyers will make money. It'll be fun for them.
Yeah, I told my kids, be a lawyer or be something like that.
Lawyers got to get paid too, right? Like,
Don't be a trader.
it is what it is. Meta, look, I actually, on my note, I was like 500 dip, and it was just more of like if it fills in the gap, there's 500. But at the open, if you're watching the open, you know I was looking at the chip names to short the pop in that moment, and then Rivian came in there. Tesla looked like it had a chance to hit my level, so I wasn't sitting on the bid or anything of Meta when it bounced off 500. And the best you can do in this situation, like that was your bounce play, this wick right in here, it comes back in, didn't take it. Because at that point, it's lower highs and screaming down and relatively weak. So the initial bounce would have been good. After that, it's a bit of a dumpster. It's down 1%. I'm not going to use dumpster fire is ridiculous for a stock down 1%.
Yeah.
Let's reserve that term for. I know we always sometimes I do it way too often where I'll look at a chart like this and overstate it. Boeing is dumpster firing it up. EVs are dumpster firing it up. Like Meta pulling back 1% isn't anything like that. Snapchat, however, has held $11. I'll give it that. Clearly, there's some support at Snapchat at $11. We've now seen this twice in the last few days. Look at the daily chart. It's putting in a higher low, and this is right at the $11 level. Sorry, check that, 3 times. My bad. This is the 3rd time it's actually bouncing off the $11 level for Snapchat. So if we do test underneath and hold out this mid-90s area, maybe there's a long. Maybe we're looking at that long tomorrow. The other way to play that is if it breaks 1090, it's a flat bottom break to the downside on Snapchat, and it joins the rest of this heading down. But good look if you tried Snapchat off 11, but you really needed to be short both of these names today. And I mean, I didn't really look at. You traded Google. I think Google fared a little bit better.
Yeah,
Did you trade Google today?
Yeah, I traded Google today. Yeah, Google was a good one. We were long Google. We hit that one. Look at this, 158, 157.50 again, as it was written on here. And yeah. So we do a good job holding some of them, and we do a bad job holding others. This came back down to flat. We could have got long again at 157.50. It's getting to the point where I'm getting to be upset. Like we just need to follow our own rules. Like it is painful. Shout out to Tim Hortons. Here's what I was telling you, Sean, Randy. Wrong coffees though. Here it is right here. Is that stuff actually happening?
What was that?
All right. All
don't
right.
even know.
I don't. I saw something else on Instagram. I was like, what the hell's going on? 157.50 right there. That's a level, and that's the bottom of the day. So, I mean, yeah. Missed opportunity. And then we also wrote down Meta. NVIDIA is
broke
coming back
800.
up. Yeah,
Oh, it broke
back
800.
down. Down, let's go. Here we go. So we're $1 in the money right now on Tesla. We're 50 cents in the money on Apple. And this is what we're doing, man. There's a couple chicken dinner winners right now. So here we go. Let's see what happens right now. You want the hot dog dance, Kyle Burnett? Then you get the hot dog dance. So there it goes right there. That's for you, Kyle. Let's see if we can get this party started properly now with a couple big bangers here to end the day. So, yeah, let's hopefully Tesla can come down. I have no idea.
I can't tell you what you. Oh, sorry,
Yeah, go ahead. Did 800? Did you get it?
No, I didn't. But I can't tell you what fill you would have gotten
Yeah.
on an 800 break because I didn't get it.
I'm so mad.
But the low was 798. So as long as you got within the first like 70 cents or 50 cents or something like that, you were good. But
Apple.
yeah, I'm not on the way back up. I don't want it at all. So we are in. We're obviously in a couple of shorts. The good thing is Alibaba's holding up, but I might take some profit there. Intel, if it breaks down to 50s, I want some more out. And then we already mentioned Rivian. Didn't quite get to VWAP once it breaks 880. But I think the concern would be if NVIDIA is giving it up at 800, I'm not necessarily waiting for Alibaba to retrace with everything else. At this point, I'm going to forget the offer. Let's just get out. Like, it was close enough. It was curling off to 73, 74.5. You've seen the pattern that I showed you guys on Alibaba. And not one of those days did it actually blow out the top at the end of the day. Every single one of these days, it's crested at about 3 and then slowed down, crested at 3 and slowed down. It had actually already pulled back. So I'll just be happy that it made a new high. And if the market's pulling back in, just note the pattern. And if BABA does the same thing tomorrow, then look for the VWAP bounce play. If it holds, as long as it holds the low every day, it's stair-stepping it to the upside. But I'm getting out of it because the market just, NVIDIA giving up 800, I don't want to be in longs when that happens, even though BABA is relatively strong. We'll take it and try to run here.
All right. Our day is getting better and better, so we're pretty happy as of right now with what's been happening here. So let's just wait for it, see what we can do here into the close. I do want to short AMD possibly on a break as well. So here comes AMD right back in right now. Let's see if we can get this one to sing a little bit here. Watch out for a 150 break. We've seen this before for advanced micro devices breaking through 150, and it didn't stop pretty much till 159, 149, downside 148. Check that. There's that bottom right there of 150.20. So I'm thinking that that's a decent break spot as well as this market tries to come back in. And by the way, ring those registers. Like, this is real trading. I'm trying to show you guys. Someone asked in the chat that Sean was confident in this short on Tesla. I mean, this is what we do. We show you confidence. We show you trades that we believe in. Look at Apple. I mean, we believe in Apple. You know, 50 period right there, 200 period. Thank you. Come again for Apple. There's another one. I mean, it's just going and going and going here as we're having a lot of fun on the show. I hope you guys are too. Let's see where we can push this market to the downside. I mean, don't expect this to continue. I wrote this down today. I didn't expect the market to do much because we had major earnings. We had Tesla earnings, obviously. And then tonight we've got Meta, we've got IBM. There's lots in store tonight, but we have a good short here in Apple. And by the way, tomorrow, you'll be probably hearing a lot more of Neil, which is probably a good thing because I'm already losing my voice, and I'm on the diamond tonight with 14 10-year-olds.
Boom.
So that should be real exciting. So we've got this show, we've got the recap show, then we're driving immediately onto the diamond to start yelling at 9 and 10-year-olds.
There's a drill I want you to do, but I think they're at the right age for it.
Yeah, what is it? Let me know.
No, it's like at the end of, I had one coach, and I love this. At the end of practice, he would do a thing where he hits ground balls. You stand at second base, and all you have to do is field the ground ball cleanly. You can knock it down, and then make a reasonably good throw to first base. Like, that's it. But every single round, he's hitting it harder and harder and harder until there's like one person standing.
Yeah.
Like, but the most important thing is like if you get out of the way, like, Oh, you can do push-ups or anything. He made you do push-ups.
Yeah. That's what we should do.
But the whole point is part of it was just staying in front of the ball. Whether
Yeah.
you won or not, it didn't matter. But like when he's hitting it harder,
Right.
if you knocked it down, it was good enough. It made a reasonable throw. It didn't matter if you fielded it cleanly. And the whole point was just to.
No, that's a good one.
No,
We
because-
do ones where we put like pylons up and you can
Yeah.
throw the ball between the pylons as well.
I like that one
So if
too.
you miss that, especially from the outfield to practice your arms. The problem is our exhibition game is on Saturday and this is only our second practice. And some of these kids are
word.
coming from T-ball into Little League. So I've got to teach them. So today we're going to be doing stealing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be on the mound. We'll see if we can get that going.
No
Swing away.
pickoffs.
Swing away. My daughter was crushing it. It's going to be.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she's.
She'll
she'll
steal some base. She'll swipe
Oh yeah,
back.
she's fast. It's going to be a fun year.
So actually,
People bet.
hockey players and sort of the technique for skating and the way that they stay down in their hips.
Oh, yeah, that makes
them
sense.
really good for stealing bases because like the technique, you don't want to be upright. Anyways, I'm in Micron short. Hey, guess what's at VWAP? Oh, wait a minute, the market's tanking and you couldn't get the NVIDIA break of the low of the day? Short something at VWAP. This segment brought to you by IG. Well, there you go.
Brought to you by
What
IG,
up, IG? Shout out to Frank Caberna. But also by VWAP, which is literally every single trade that I have on right now. This is it failing VWAP, giving it to the lower high, and let's see if it breaks even lower than this. I don't know, I get like all excited about it. Like I like baseball, I love practice. Practice is a lot of fun. I used to love practicing.
I always get nervous because like I got to think of the.
No, when you love a sport, like you
No,
want to go to practice, man.
Yeah, but I get all the anxiety because it's like I try to think about what we're going to be doing. You know, like what drills are we going to be doing? What this and what that. So that's always in my mind. That's funny. I have a game with my kids, says Kyle. It's called Daddy Throws Rocks if they don't run fast enough. Yeah, be careful with that, Kyle. Yeah, my kids could probably outrun any of my rock throwing, so we'll wait for that one. But
I mean, rocks? Like,
yeah, I try not to throw rocks at kids, especially other people's kids. You know, a lot of parents like to stay there for practice.
I know you're messing around,
You know
Kyle.
what I mean? Okay, what are we talking about? Practice? Yeah, where's Allen Iverson up in here? All right, what are we talking about? Apple? We talking about Apple? There it is, nice little move downside for Apple. Here it comes in, and this is not Boeing. This is a chef that's in a plane, and there we go. So you do get that down there, cooking down into the 200 period, moving average. Tesla now $1.30, $1.40 in the money. Join me tonight with Chris Brether. He wants to talk all about the chip names. He's got a trade that he noted from ASML last week that triggered some of these trades. He'll talk more about that. As there goes NVIDIA, man. We talked about this. Where's the emperor's clothing? You know, yesterday well-dressed, but today giving it all back again, touching the 50 period. I think Neil might have mentioned this to me off camera this morning, but like NVIDIA hovering underneath this daily 150 period moving average. If it doesn't break above it, that's not good heading into earnings. I still do think after that rejection today, we do retest this bottom again.
666.
So I actually just put, you reminded me, I actually will be, I mean, we don't do it while we're on the show, but Eli Lilly's coming. I think it was May. I know you just sold some, but that doesn't, I just don't have that many shares of this. LLY, I just looked, I was up 250%. That's what I was looking at. But I've sold this. No, just in my portfolio on this name, because I didn't buy this name till 200 something. But where do they report? Yeah, April 30th. So it's next week. I think this name, these guys guide higher, no? I mean, so that's what I'm looking for, is names that can guide higher. You know, we've talked about GLP-1 and all that kind of stuff. They're now being sold at Costco. You know, good possibility there. You know, is it, and I see my guy Raheem over there. Shout out to this man. Look, gold, the minute that you see Costco is selling bars of gold, potentially that could be the top, for sure.
No.
But it shows you that there's a heck of a lot of interest in what we're talking about. It's like when you get into the Uber and they're like, should I buy Bitcoin at 73,000? And you're like, well, I would have liked this question at 16,000.
If my dad asked about gold, that's the top. My pops actually, not making this up, when Bitcoin failed the 70,000 push, I will never forget this because that high was the day after I got home and my pops was coming by.
Right.
And we were chatting, and he said, should I be investing in crypto?
See.
And I was like, I'm not going to tell you how old my dad is, but suffice to say, I was like,
Too old?
I'm like, no. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no. I'm like, should my daughter have it in her like education account? Like, yes, but like, Dad, what are we talking about here? Like, this is not your wheelhouse. doesn't make any sense. And literally the next day, was the next day was the high.
Yeah.
No, of course he could. Look, he could give it to my daughter.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, Bitcoin is up 500% or 160% or something in 8 months or something.
No, but
like
he
that.
would have liked. He can't. He's not holding it forever, like at all.
No. But I mean, even just for a trade, like what
No,
I
but
think
he doesn't trade.
I know, but
nothing is anything but longer time frame for him. Which I'm like, at this point, Dad, come on, you know.
I think what hurt a lot of Bitcoin early adoption, and I don't think this is rocket science, is just the fact that it was so hard to get with those wallets going, and a lot of people were scared of, where do I send my money? What do I, like, you know, what exchange is safe? Am I going to go on Mount Gox again or something like that? We had Sam Bankman-Fried on this show, you know, sitting there trading at his trading desk.
Watch that back, and it'll.
We were talking right to him. So the thing is like, nowadays you can go over, and by the way, I just want to say that there is, like DJT, I see a lot of people talking about it in the chat. We could talk about crypto lots, but I was just going to say,
DJT.
Now I feel like you can get in and out of it a little bit easier with those ETFs, that's all.
Yes.
So a lot of people that have some investment income lying around looking for a little more risk, you can you know, look for that in an ETF. But
It's safer.
again, you can't get out over the weekend,
Easier.
so that's the problem. But DJT apparently at some of these rallies, I guess, and I don't know, I mean, I don't know if they're broadcasted on Fox, CNN, I don't know where, but they are talking about DJT. And isn't that so funny that, like, we're supposed to be running for president and everything like that, and now we're going to be talking about, like, how to protect our shares here, how to support this. Can we go over to the screen? I know Fabian's busy, but this is a nice move, up 9.5%, and I'm not going to be talking politics about this at all. It's just when things are in the news, and this is what I was talking to my guy over there at Tim Hortons, and that's the talk right now about Bitcoin and all that. It's when these stocks start to become like common news stories. I mean, you saw what happened with GameStop, and you saw what happened with AMC, different times, obviously with COVID and all that. But honestly, this name could really rally, and it would not surprise me if it gets going. And the market is one of those funny things. I'm going to try to call up trade ideas because I don't know if I've looked at the short float since it's been DWAC. And
I don't think it's
I'm going to
lifted.
assume that this got updated. No, see, so
Oh,
it
it is?
didn't. Where does it say short float on it?
I have 11%. Hold on a second. Mine
Okay,
has.
Neil has it. Why don't I have it? Or wait, maybe it's short float. Yeah, I don't have it, but you have it. So why is that?
Oh no, wait a
Oh,
minute.
you
no,
typed in DWAC.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
You
So-
said DWAC, and no, it was 11%. when it
Anyways,
was
we'll
DWAC.
find another source, but I'm sure you guys can find
That's
it.
my bad.
I just worry that at the end of the day, this emperor does have no clothing. They lost $58 million last year. They had $5 million of revenue. So I just think that you got to watch out what you're doing here. Maybe True Social, is that what the website's called? Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes off and is great.
Trade it.
But as far as I know, Twitter was not making money. They have millions, 100 million, I think. Maybe a little less, maybe 80 million daily active users.
Yep.
You know, hard to make money there. So I just want to say, as a trading vehicle, for sure. You talked about it being 11 cents worth of borrow cost.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
Probably
short it
worth
today,
it,
but
yeah.
I'll pay for that.
Probably
almost
worth
on a
it.
daily basis.
But I just want to say that we'll look to trade this name. But for now, I'll start looking at it tomorrow. I don't want to get involved today. Want to do some work on it. Look to see what this stock is all about. But I promise you guys in the chat, we will be looking at DJT moving forward. Okay? But right now we got Apple $1 in the money. We got Tesla $1 in the money. And I'm just looking for some more opportunities, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I like the 3 shorts that I have on. Not literally. Oh, there was I forgot about this. That deal we were talking about yesterday with IBM. So IBM and that HCP, it is now officially a 35 offer. So if you weren't watching the midday show, first of all, you should be. Secondly, the good news for IBM, this flushed on the speculation they could be making this deal. It flushed to 179. Today, it did a similar move down when they got a deal price, but it's actually recovered. So that's a great sign for IBM. And then I typed in UCP for some reason. HCP, 35 deal. I was trading it, but it's not really in a range that I like. I think it might be better tomorrow if it can settle. Like, I'd be selling this thing if it was anywhere near 34, like 33.5 into 34. It shouldn't get that close to the deal price. And if it was holding above 32, I think I'd like the long a little bit better. But yeah, this is now going to trade a lot differently than what you were used to. And I love the fact that IBM is holding where it is on this announcement. That means they don't really hate the premium being paid. At least the market's not hating on that premium. So you guys let us know what you want to be trading. I did jump out of Alibaba, probably too early, but the market was tanking, and yeah, I mean, it made it fresh. This is the first time, actually, that Alibaba has made a second push up off of VWAP, like break up, consolidate, then break up a third time this afternoon. So good for Alibaba. But I took it out at 40s. It's now at 74.60, up 3%. Relative strength versus relative weakness. If you got to be long something, try to be long a stock that is at least trending with you and not against you.
All right. Yep. Okay. Just getting some things done. All right. We had a fantastic interview the other day.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. We're going to get ready to have another one right now. So let's go back over to the desk and join Brendan and our guest of the day.
This afternoon, we're talking AI. Hunter Scarf's here from All Set Capital to touch on a couple of things. AI in general. Good to see you, by the way. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Brendan.
Yeah, it's an exciting neck of the woods right now. Obviously, very, very popular. You and I were just touching on a couple of things before we came on here when it comes to NVIDIA. And I think there's a general lack of knowledge across this entire industry right now, and specifically with demand. Talk from a high level, just to start things off here. Why is this such a craze right now?
Well, I think everyone's heard of ChatGPT, and these trends typically start with the consumer. And so when millions of people come into a new product like that, every boardroom across America is meeting and saying, how do we get into this space? What do we need to do?
Right.
And there's three simple things. You need a lot of data, you need engineers, and you need access to compute. And so all this cash that's coming in from a Fortune 500 level into buying these machines, these H100s from NVIDIA, is really generated by this realization that there's such a level of curiosity and speed of adoption at the consumer level that's coming in. I think people are just saying, and you know, serious people, board of directors at Fortune 500 companies are saying, we need to be in this space and we need to be in it now. And so that's what's causing, I think, a big part of this huge demand at NVIDIA for their GPUs, because OpenAI, ChatGPT, Grok, Bard, all these models that you've heard of are trained on hundreds, if not thousands, of these GPUs. And so that's where all this big demand is coming from.
Yeah, we heard from Elon last night talking about more coming Teslas.
That's for their Dojo computer.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Perplexity as well. I saw the other day raising capital in their journey, trying to get to somewhere with their AI. Let's touch on this deal. News this week. So All Set, just so everyone's up to speed, All Set has 49% ownership in Cedar Cross.
Correct.
Which, I mean, I'll let you explain this. 2.3 million Canadian, which will provide or give them the ability to, you can fill in the blanks.
Yeah, for sure. So firstly, at a high level, All Set Capital is a public investment issuer.
Sure.
And the company's focus is on finding the most accretive and exciting investment opportunities within AI for its shareholders.
Right.
And so the great part about that is, you know, we closed a $6 million private placement in March, and that gives the company the capital to go and chase down really exciting opportunities in AI. And one of those opportunities is Cedar Cross International Technologies. Cedar Cross is 100% focused on AI infrastructure. They want to be an owner, operator, and leaser of H100s, being the most advanced right now computer from NVIDIA. And so what you saw, the news on Monday, is very simply a second business unit from the leasing business, which is a brokerage business. And we're finding a lot of opportunities right now where people can't get access to these H100s, but Cedar Cross does have that access through our relationships with Earthmade, one of Supermicro's primary distributors. And so if we find a customer for H100s, we can match them with a machine purchase from through the relationship with Earthmade. And the margins in that business aren't as great as the leasing business, but it just creates more non-dilutive cash for us to go buy more servers and build up the leasing side of the business, which has the juicier margins.
Where's the market here on maybe this side of the border, for example? We hear, you know, globally and in the U.S. specifically. What can investors maybe look at on this side of the border as the next opportunity?
Well, listen, I think it's one of the only good decisions Justin Trudeau has made as Prime Minister. He announced $2 billion in AI infrastructure investment as part of his next budget.
Yeah.
And so that is very promising for one simple reason. Canada has tons of AI talent, but very limited access to infrastructure.
Right.
And you saw a few weeks ago a Globe and Mail article came out that said, Canadian AI infrastructure does not compute. And ironically enough, 2 weeks later, there's $2 billion in the budget.
Yeah.
And so I think that you're going to start to see a lot of momentum in the Canadian space where everyone from, and again, it's not just early stage technology companies, it's financial services, healthcare, big industry. Any company that has access to data is going to want to apply that with H100s or more advanced computing when it comes out to turn that into models, products, and agents in AI. So really, from an opportunity perspective in Canada, you can. I personally think you can look at the entire spectrum of company. There's seed, Series A, all the way up to growth private technology companies that need access to compute, and then there's the big players that also are looking for it as well. Lots of demand here.
A lot of the questions, I think, at this point is the upgrade cycle. Yes, the H100 is here and a great opportunity right now, but what is that going to look like on a time frame? I mean, we're obviously just speculating right across the board, but what is that going to look like on a time frame going up 2 years, 3 years? And when we see that turnover, is that when we start to see the demand 10x?
Yeah, so these machines do iterate. If any of your listeners were shareholders in any of the early Bitcoin miners or Ethereum miners, they'll know this well.
Right.
That cycle was even tighter. It was like 6 to 12 months.
Right.
In this case, NVIDIA has such a unique moat around the production of these GPUs at the current moment that they're able to set their own product timeline, which determines when these new servers are coming out. And they're not in the interest of being carnivorous towards their own business of H100s. And so, I was at the NVIDIA GTC conference a month and a half ago when Jensen, the CEO of NVIDIA, unveiled the B100, which is the next machine. And so, yes, there's a predictable time frame where 18 months from now, approximately, we don't know exactly when those are going to be fully deployed. But the reality is the biggest customers, the Googles, the Metas, the Microsofts, are the ones that are going to be getting the first access to these machines because they're spending billions of dollars buying them. And so my personal view is that a company like Cedar Cross, if we can be one of those smaller players to get access to the best machinery earlier, we're going to be one of those people that can provide that machinery quicker to the earlier stage companies that don't have access to putting themselves at the front of the line like the Microsofts and the Googles do.
And that was kind of where I was going with the next question as well, in where does this leave Cedar Cross in the overall landscape of distribution?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is that Allset as a whole company, again, can look at all these different opportunities at once and has the flexibility to do so by nature of its investment issuer status. And so particularly with Cedar Cross, I believe that their best course of action is to always be buying the newest iteration of hardware. They bought H100s, as was announced a few weeks ago. They'll be buying B100s when it's possible. And that just allows us to be in a position as an investor in that company to have exposure to the most advanced hardware that NVIDIA is producing. And I'll also mention, this is important for your listeners to hear, that there are other companies obviously coming for NVIDIA's, what would be considered monopoly in the GPU space for AI right now. There's AMD, Intel, there's a lot of great companies that are in this space. But I would just note that Sam Altman came out a month ago and said he'd like to raise multiple trillions of dollars to compete with NVIDIA. And so I got a few calls about that saying, well, what do you think about this? What's happening? And almost in a panic sense. And I said, I think Sam Altman just defined the size of NVIDIA's moat in this space. That's pretty simple to me.
Unreal.
So look, it's an incredible company. Jensen in particular is an incredible individual. So I think they've got a huge runway of what they're building.
And I can't remember or recall it just sitting here, but there were some headlines that came out regarding him being successful in raising something on that trip that he took over to the Middle East. Sam Altman, I'm referring to in that.
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever actual numbers disclosed, but
they have a lot of money over there, so I don't know exactly where it landed either. But I'm sure there's capital coming from that part of the world into this space.
It's early days, and
I
don't think people understand the extent of how early it is.
Look, this is my own personal opinion. I believe that we're in the first inning of what's going to be a multi-decade trend in technology, and I just point back to the speed of adoption of ChatGPT, just as an example that everyone will recognize. They reached 100 million users faster than any other consumer product, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever. ChatGPT is very, very far ahead in the #1 spot there in terms of the speed of what, and so to me, it's the speed of adoption and curiosity at the base consumer level that leads me to believe that that trickles up into this capital allocation for AI that's going to lead to so much excitement and development over the next few decades.
More to come. Yeah, KSUM on the TSX Venture Exchange here in Toronto. If anybody wants more information about the firm itself, where would you send them?
Yeah, absolutely. So you definitely follow us on X now, not Twitter, Allset AI, that's ALSET AI. And website has the same moniker, www.allsetai.com.
Amazing. Hunter Scarf, very insightful. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
There we go, another one. I mean, this is the thing.
Holla.
You know, we talk about new technologies all the time. So whenever you get that sort of buzzword now, NVIDIA, is that a word? But there it is.
NVIDIA is a verb that you just need to be able to throw out there.
Yeah, check out KSUM there.
So here's a question, and we always talk about this, but like, you know what's better than a smiley face in a chart?
Like a Joker face where it goes all the way up, so you're long and you just keep on going. Is that what you mean? Or?
A smiley face on a higher low.
Oh, you have that one.
Because
Okay,
every
yeah.
single time we talk about a smiley face pattern, we're usually talking about catching the bottom. Instead, it's like move up and then a smiley face. And again, you know, you got to respect. You have to respect an officer not wanting to pimp out their stock in the chart. But that's, you know, we're here to show you guys the good. So we appreciate you, Hunter. Thank you for that as well. Looking sharp. The thing is, when Raheem comes,
I like that blue. I like,
you know, like
that
the
blue.
North Carolina blue.
Raheem tees next.
Thursday.
Tees next Thursday with the Preakness.
He's into it. I'm
So
not.
we're gonna get some picks.
I mean, I've been to Woodbine. It's a good time. Like I'm not into like the horse racing, but like I've been to the track just to have a few drinks and just for fun, like betting on the horses. But I'm not really into it. It is a heck of a lot of fun for an evening if you just want to chill with some friends. But
Yeah.
I'm not like I don't really understand.
We were gonna go to a
the whole
Jays game, but we could go off track. You know, we can go somewhere off track betting.
We could
there.
do what we could do. Why don't
You
you
know,
just go to
we could-
Woodbine, man?
The problem with Woodbine is getting there, I feel like, isn't it?
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know, it's just not in the city, that's all. But I like Woodbine. I'm down with some Woodbine action here. Okay, so 3 o'clock, coming into big earnings, man. I was looking at DJT, you know,
go.
like even when we left you guys recently, we had Donald J. Trump here, was 9%. Add 3 more to that. Now you're at 12 and a bit as this name just keeps on ripping to the north side here. Obviously, Syrian, buddy. Nice move there, 35.50 back in for DJT. That would be, I guess, the level. I mean, look at the 50-period moving average. Like, I have this up here because it's a trend-changing indicator. That's it. Not trying to set this world on fire with anything here. That's why we have it. And it hasn't changed trend at all. It tried to here, but the best part about when you have a 50-period moving average or really anything, I use these lines as ideas, but at the end of the day, I like to think that we're trading off of levels. And so I just draw this line there at 34.80. So if you do come into the 50 period, that's a tough one right there because it's the first time and you don't have this level. But like the second time it comes in, you have a level there. So this is why I wind up losing on names like Roblox and things like that, because when we break lower, everything is fine, but the problem is that's your out. So sometimes it saves you because then you get all the way back into VWAP and or the 200 period and you're like, oh, that was great. And sometimes you can get wicked out as well. But that's kind of a trade that I would look for. So look at it, ride this 50 period. So if we do get a pull back, now you're developing, and this is actually happening right in front of us. I don't know what pattern this is called, or like I said, I don't really follow patterns or anything like
Squeeze
that.
pattern.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, there's a flag, a pennant formation there, and then the breakout.
I like to call that stair step up because
Yeah.
it's like it breaks a high, consolidates, breaks a high, and if you look at it, every single high that it breaks, it pulls back and then holds the previous one. So I call that taking the stairs up, but I don't know. I haven't read enough technical.
No, that's what I was going to say. Like, I respect everybody that knows all that. I mean, we have them We'll have Chris Brether on tonight. I could probably show this to you, and he'll know about this. But I'm just talking about this, a pullback into 35 and change. That is where the 50-period moving average is, and it coincides with a level. So I think if you take a 35, 50 long, you know, you have to probably have 70 cents or so in it, which I think makes sense because the high at that point would be $1.80 away. So I like that. Oh, I wanted to talk to you guys about this graphic. You see this graphic, Ramin? Like, you see how like sometimes your face is there.
What? I'm
I
sorry,
was
what?
watching it yesterday. You know how they have our face sometimes in the bottom
Yeah.
right. And then that graphic comes up and it's like, and it looks like you're talking, but yet it's the picture of the mountain goat there.
You know, I missed it. I actually need to see that happen.
It happens all the
I need
time.
to see it happening. And I feel like there's
mention you
so many Pokeroo events. Like you'll say, did you notice this? And I look over the screen flickering. I've noticed now as well when it happens to you.
Yeah, we just
you got super chat. I was gonna.
Yeah, notice the 200 moving average is further below on the Qs. On the Q5 minute, we can look at this. When on 50 minute, it's right there. Usually it scales time frames, now the other way around. Opportunity. So you think this is an opportunity to go short, I guess there, Turin? You're saying that the 200 moving average is further below on the 5 minute when on the 50 minutes right there. Yeah, okay. Usually it scales with time frames, not the other way around. Okay, well, let's have a quick look and we'll figure out what we're talking about here. So here are the triple Qs. So the 200 period moving average on a 5 minute right here is, so we're under, I mean, again, I'm not sure when you sent this, it would have been a couple minutes ago, I guess. So there's the 200 period as far as I know on the 5 minute at 426. And then on the 15 minute, we are, I'm probably misunderstanding this. On the 15 minute, okay, we're well underneath. So you think we could retrace back down into this right here because this would be on the 15 minute? So yeah. I've never really looked at 15-minute charts, to be honest with you, but these are just pivot points in here. I don't know if this is enough of a long down there at 422. So I don't know. Maybe just clarify, yes. Yeah, so a good opportunity for a short, right. So retracing back into here, yeah. I mean, I would just look at it even as a 5-minute chart, even to simplify that even more. And again, I would love to comment on that. Let's study that chart pattern. But see, there's the break. So for me, I would look down here and say, and maybe for a swing trade you're talking about, but for today, 426 down into 424 bottom, that would be a really great trade. So I think if you can get something into there, that would make sense. Your 421 level goes all the way back to yesterday's open. So there is some support down there. I like that level as well. If the market cranks, then we're going there. I'm holding two shorts.
It seems like it's got to be, if you pull it back, it seems like if you're actually taking that, like you're right, the 421 seems like a swing because you're out, like you're not, like,
well, you're kind of giving all the way back to yesterday.
Yeah, like you're looking for all the way back into yesterday, but then you're probably trying to hold it back into the 28
That's VWAP
level.
right there at 27.
27 or 28,
That's
one of those
28
two you're
up
out.
there, yeah.
So you're putting up a decent amount there.
You know,
so I think you need the 421.
Before we go to Adara, I just, the thing about all of that is, those kind of ideas are great, and I just think that all we really need to do is kind of back test.
Yeah.
And I just mean that
forward test.
Yeah, and kind of like take 100 shares now, if that's in your wheelhouse, and then see how that pans out, right? 100 might be too much because it's Qs, but try it on TQQs or something like that with a little bit less shares and see if it pans out, because some of those ideas are gold. What's up, Adara?
Got on central bankers, geopolitics, and economic data? Apply your macro views with a Forex account at IG. Currencies like Euro and USD can require as little as 2% margin rates and offers $0 commissions trading using a Forex account at IG. For a limited time, traders can open, fund, and trade with IG for up to $10,000 in funding bonuses. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, he works, we were talking about where, thank you for that, check out IG right now as well, but we're talking about Chef Joe. Yeah, he works in New York at the Marriott, I believe.
My whole thing is any Americans that have not checked, if you've never been exposed to Trailer Park Boys, which is a Canadian show, then almost all of you are going to like it. A couple of things here because we got to talk about the markets. That Micron, brought to you by VWAP. Thank you, VWAP, again. It just pulled back into this level, which is 110.5. I just took some out there. Maybe we get a shot to reload it. Maybe we don't. So we're just in this off of VWAP. We're in Intel off VWAP, which is making a lower high. I'm bidding 34.55. And then Rivian as well. Okay, it's technically not VWAP, but The difference with Rivian
I think I might take it.
would be like, it did this hammer candle down, like right here, and I was in it, and then it immediately bid 885 was like instant support, and then kind of slowly chewed through it before making a low. So when it came back and then held 885, I remembered that level. So it's not exactly VWAP. I guess we should be more precise about these things. Like, it didn't get to VWAP, but that 885 was a level that I was getting out when I saw the bids step up there on a downward move, so I shorted into it. And now we're headed back into the low of the day. Looking pretty nasty overall for these markets. NVIDIA just still can't hold on to 800. 795, as the NASDAQ is so close to red. I'd say we should put a poll up, but is anyone even going to vote green at this point with the trend as it is? I'm doubting it. But I think it would be more interesting, like, what do we think of Meta tonight? Because
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
yeah, like let's do a Meta one. Obviously, Meta, it's going to move. I don't know what the expected volatility is going to be on this thing. We can do one of those like red, green, or flat. I'll throw that one up there. But we'll just call it has to be more than 1%. Anything up or down 1% is flat, and then anything else is it going to be red or green? I tend to think when you're up here this much, there's more risk that you just can't get it perfect. You know they're going to make a boatload of money. We know that's going to be true. We know they're going to do better, relatively speaking, in advertising dollars than their cohorts, because they usually do. But then we don't know the comparison until we actually get Google and the others down the line. But I'm probably going to vote for down. But then I voted down yesterday on Tesla, and that was wrong. So
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. And we said last time Meta announced a dividend, and that came out of nowhere, and that shot the thing up 24% or something. That
was ridiculous.
On last earnings. I have a trade idea for everybody. I'm going to be going short right now on AMD. This is a play that I'm happy taking. If we break that low right now, you're down 1%. I feel like the market wants to go lower right now. I mean, we could test that bottom. This is trending down. I mean, high, so you're getting lower highs. Definitely trying to push lower right now. I do understand that we're gonna have to dance a little bit with NVIDIA as well. Like, if this continues to go up, then we're not going to get anything on this. But I feel okay about shorting AMD. So I would like a move back up to 150, 150, the 200 period right here. If we can get that, great. We'll short that into like 150, 180, give ourselves like 30 cents worth of risk. I'm pretty comfortable with those levels, so that would be something for sure that I'll look at. But other than that, right now, a break of this bottom of 150.50 for AMD, if that happens, I want in. Because this is not like I don't have FOMO, everything's fine. I just want to get in on this break lower. We're only short Tesla, which we've made, like, just today alone on Tesla, I feel like we talk about our month, 10, we probably made about 15% of our month with Tesla alone today. So that's pretty good. So we're pretty happy with that. We talked about how we had lost the other day a certain percentage or whatever it was. So we're pretty happy with that trading today on Tesla right now, hearing about GME right now. So I'm going to get out of Tesla if it breaks. So we're going to be really careful with it. One more reload here around 90s. VWAP's getting lower. I want to test it one more time. We just talked about the money we've made on this. We'll give it one more shot here on Tesla, trying to break 162. I'll give it like to 162 quarters, but I want to get short again. We're going to wait for 161.90. Let's be real tight to the vest on this one. Nice move back up. Market starting to go. Still hearing about GameStop.
But there's no news. It's just that it's moving.
Meta will be down. There we go.
What did you vote?
You see, I voted down immediately. I just saw it down.
Yeah.
I've already said down for a minute, so I think Meta will be
53%
down. Because, again, I really think their quarter is going to be monster. I think it's going to be the opposite of NVIDIA, of Tesla, where you're going to get Meta come out and really have a great quarter. I am going to be worried about, I want to hear what they're talking about with the ad spend. I know Facebook is really rocking and everything, and Instagram, WhatsApp. I'd like to hear some new ideas there. You know, I remember I don't know if it was last report or the report before, there was warnings of like, hey, if this continued tension in the Middle East happens, we could see some cutbacks in ad spend. So I don't know if that's something or not, but that would be something that's interesting to me to hear if that did come through or not. And I know that would affect their past quarter. Just wondering if there's more talk about little things like that coming for Meta. So we'll wait. You know, I think there's a lot of levers they could pull to get higher as well, including, you know, possible talk of their, I think they have what, Llama 3 now is out, so there could be talk there. We know AI is all the rage with Apple.
I've been a little bit disappointed with, I mean, I've only used their AI on WhatsApp, but I've been a little bit disappointed by that. And again, it's the early iteration. I'm sure it's going to get better, but I like my Perplexity app a little bit better, and I'm going to continue to use it and sort of mess around with it as I just check. I can't be looking at my WhatsApp messages because then I'm going to try to respond to people that are bugging me. I don't think Meta's going to have a really bad report. I just think there's a host of names, or a small host of names, that have not really had big pullbacks. And the patterns all look the same. And Meta, there it is. Like it's a little bit of a lower high. You're now hugging the 50 period. Microsoft has a similar pattern. Like, you got to get it right or perfect to not pull back in. Like, look at the rally. Like, what's going to be easier here, I think, for them to give us enough strong guidance and future prospects that we're going to be blowing out this high after the rally we've been on, or after we lose the 50 period, that some people are looking for spots to take profit. I'm not just saying that because I feel in that camp. It's just, you know, it feels it's going to be it's going to be difficult, especially for the really, really high flyers. And that sometimes it's the case. Like, look at Tesla, right? Like, Tesla had fallen so far down that you get the relief rally up. It's more about people's expectations and where the stock is a lot of times than it is the actual earnings. But we'll see. GME, I'm still trying to figure out why it's moving, so I'm not going to trade this thing. Sometimes when the market's in a downward trend, you want to go for some of these types of names, but it's 15, 20 cents to the upside, and it's a volume spike. Not really seeing continuation, and I'm not really seeing a story as to why this is happening. So I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, we'll stay away from GameStop. If GameStop had a reason for going up, and you know it still has a little bit of a short float, there's an opportunity there at times. I'm not feeling it today.
All right, so Tesla went up. So we'll slap a reload, which did not work, and then a fail on the reload there because we just got out there. It broke 162.6. So we went short at 90s and got out at, we actually got 30s. So we had that break there of 25s, and we got 30s on the break. So there's my last out right there. So we shorted that. We got out of 75% of it or so, maybe a little bit. Oh, it doesn't matter. These were all average prices. The big trade was off of 168, which was that sticky note level that we had mentioned a couple of times. I'm wondering about this little battle back here into the 50 period. Let me check on our friend AMD. Palantir's at 2150 as well, a level that we'd written down. We could have a look at that. We didn't trade Palantir yet. Oh, so AMD is at the 50 period right there. That's kind of interesting as well for AMD. I was still looking for a little higher than this, up into 152, but 150, 150, I think is a breaking spot that I like. What's up, Adara?
Thank you to our sponsors at Kalshi. Have you ever wanted to trade in events that directly relate to companies and the economy? Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the U.S. where you can bet on any event. Ever wondered if TikTok will be banned, how many cars Tesla will ship this quarter, or what a new movie's Rotten Tomatoes score will be? Now you can use Kalshi to put your predictions to the test and trade on what you really know. Visit kalshi.com/tradertv to sign up today and grab a $20 bonus after depositing $50 exclusively for the first 500 people using promo code TraderTV. It's easy to get started. Choose an event, like whether Boeing will have a new CEO this year, currently priced at 76%. Buy 100 shares at 76 cents each, and if Boeing announces a new CEO by year end, you cash out $100 on your $76 bet. Don't just watch the news, profit from it. Join Kalshi's 100,000 users and dive into diverse markets, make your moves, and potentially profit from global events. Kalshi.com/TraderTV.
All right.
Yeah, and well, I just looked at that board. And it's like, well, you know, we were just talking about the Bitcoin, not Bitcoin. We were just talking about the TikTok bill, whether it get passed or not, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, that was literally yesterday. You could have made that bet. I don't know. I forget exactly what it was paying out there at Kalshi, but Always interesting. We like to trade in here. This market's starting to cook to the upside a little bit. I mean, it's not anything crazy, but it's starting to get back in. So I reloaded off VWAP on Micron. That's about it. Oh my goodness. Darwin just goes, Kaushi, will BABA break 75 today? Maybe. Definitely got out of that too early. 3%, you want some actual strength? That's not a fair thing to say. Because it's like I'm throwing shade at GameStop. GameStop up, and I'm like, I'm not going to touch it. But I think this is a stronger move in Alibaba, and we can see it's supported by a trend as well. But this is headed definitely for a test, I think, of that 77 level. Or sorry, check that 78 level. 78's the big level in here for Alibaba. If this breaks out 78, give me a close above 80 and the 200 period on the daily, and I think that'll give you some signs. Enough of a reason to look for an ad. I don't even know when they report. Let me just double check Alibaba. Middle of May, May 16th. So you got some time till earnings for it to do all of that. I think it's a good sign. It's not as if their numbers, I mean, they've been fundamentally quote unquote cheap for a while, so I don't think you have as much risk when it comes to that. So I'm not reloaded in Rivian, and after seeing that Tesla move, I might not do it. It's right back at our entry point-ish. But I reloaded Micron. Intel I'd probably still do at VWAP. Rivian, not really moving much as well. Like this either works and gives me the low of the day again, or we'll just have to, I think we bugger off that one. I'm gonna bid the low of the day and see if we get it. Need something else that I like at this price, maybe for some opportunities. Like what do I like that's a long side? Because after getting out of Alibaba, I don't really love anything to the long side. I mean, Alphabet certainly fits the bill, but you needed that one like 15 minutes ago, or 10 minutes ago, I should say, off of VWAP. Alphabet's strong, but I'm not buying it up here. You give me VWAP and I'll take a chance, and you're risking 20 cents. And the high of the day is like 80 cents higher. I like that setup a little bit better. But still hanging on to the shorts, but I will not be reloading Rivian. I already did reload Micron, and we're not there yet on Intel. We'll see what's up. Mo Fun says Meta will save the market tomorrow. Could. Actually,
What do you mean save the market?
well, I suppose get it out of
market
this
is what,
little
3%?
pullback that we had.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the market's
I
not
feel like we're getting psyched up about
Okay, look-
saving of this market.
Yeah, let's
and
pull,
stuff.
look at the NASDAQ. We're just right back to where we were when things
Insane
fell
right here.
on Friday. So if anything, you could make an argument that after that big flush that we had to end the week, Tesla already did its job, and Meta would just be kind of propping us up a little bit more. I don't know if we're really saving anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Could Meta be strong enough to push us to 18.5 or 1800, like one of those next key levels up? I think the answer is yes, but you still have Alphabet after that. You still have Apple next week. You still have NVIDIA in a month.
Yep.
I think almost exactly 1 month. You have so many shoes to drop that might be arguably bigger than Meta before we're talking about getting back to, I think you're talking about getting back to all-time highs. I don't think Meta has any chance of doing that for us. Not with Apple, Google, NVIDIA to come. I think the chips matter too much.
All right. I was just going to make sure. A message to my wife right here. Okay, so we have a new position. You know, we mentioned AMD short 5150. So we did that. It just touched into 30 and stopped. My first bid was down at 51, so I was thinking about that. So hopefully we can get that filled down here into 51.30. That would be a nice little bid if we can get that. So we'll see if that hits down 51.30. We'll take I'm only going to take 20% off. So I'm bidding right here, right now. Hopefully this fill. Come on. If it stops at 31s, okay, there it goes. Okay, so we get the 30s. So there it is. Nice little trade there, trying to break a little bit lower. It's only 15 cents and it's only 20%. So let's now get down into the 50 period. I'm still looking for a break here, but we did say that we would want this trade. So it does come up. So let's take it. Again, if you like the profit spot here, this is not a bad one. Take a little bit at this level. And let's see if it works. So we did get stopped out of our Tesla, which appears to be right. That's good. We do obviously have Apple still, as we've talked about that. This could also be at a reload level, but I'm going to stick with AMD. Again, a name here that we've been trading for a while. Left it alone here today. Did not trade it at all yesterday. I just like this look heading into the close. I was not expecting this move up. until we break VWAP, we're fine. I'm gonna wait for 152. So my target now is 151, and we're gonna wait to see if that can fill up. So that'll be my level here, 151 or so. 151 to get out, 152 to punch, like if we're wrong. So if we can get that 152, I like this level too, 152.50 there to be wrong, but I'm still okay with that. Let's wait. It's 320 already. Like that's actually kind of surprising.
Yeah, and NVIDIA is back to 800.
That's why I'm trying to get out at 52 if it breaks. Roblox downside still. I'm going to leave Roblox alone. Alibaba. So Roblox is the losing stock that I have today. We'll have one losing stock. We'll be up on Apple, AMD dependent. I don't know. Google. Google was amazing trade. Just wish we would have had it for longer. We always do that. And Tesla. We've already talked about that. So I would just say for Roblox, we were wrong on this. We tried to buy 35s. Again, we can't just show you the winners and not the losers. We had written on here in the top left that we wanted Roblox down here at 35. It had broke. 35.50 was the first try. That broke. We got out at 25. That's a 25-cent hit. Then we lost about 10 cents or maybe a little bit more with slippage, 15 cents when we broke through 35. So that kind of sucks. And look at that, man. That 35 has been a good level to go short against it. I'm not going to be going short on Roblox, but that could be the case right there.
Yeah, and there was no catalyst. What was the reason?
There wasn't really catalyst.
Why is it down?
Oh, why is it down? Yeah, that's why.
No, I mean, I guess the market's down.
Come on, NVIDIA.
I mean, look, the NASDAQ's actually flat. The ES is basically flat. So Roblox, a little bit different. I actually was looking at a daily chart of Roblox, and it gets interesting in the mid-20s.
Okay.
If it gets down there. But again,
Down
we're talking about like where you would stink bid. So if NVIDIA is at this $800 level, I'm in Micron at VWAP, and I already reloaded, and definitely not going to add one more time. And I'm now realizing Intel would have been a better choice. You pick and you choose. Intel right into almost VWAP, and it's already pulling back. So it's a little bit weaker. Sean is right. It's 320 already. So you're getting tight to the end of the day. When you're day trading in the morning, you have the entire day to shoot the moon if you play hearts, which, it's a fun way to play. You got all day for it to work and for it to trend, get all the way to the low of the day, get all the way to yesterday's levels, all that good stuff. When you're trading right at this time, as a day trader, you have to be flat at 4 o'clock. So suddenly, you want to have a tighter stop because your opportunity is a little bit smaller implicitly. And that's just part of the game. There's nothing you can do about that. So if we break out NVIDIA, I will not reload the one that isn't working, which is Micron. But I'll go for like Intel where I can have a better tight stop. So I think this is going to come out. I've tightened it to the lower high instead of the top on Micron because that's starting to look a little bit strong. Why is Micron relatively strong? I don't know, maybe it's because it already pulled back in 05s. I'm not here to try to explain it. But I have this in a downward pattern. And I know even when it's strong, we'll take the L on it here. But ever since this broke 120, my preference has been to be fading this because I think that made it. On the daily chart, Micron made a trend break. So I've been looking for short opportunities in this. ARM gave you some good ones. Had ARM done the same, if ARM had gone to VWAP, I probably would have taken this, but man, that didn't even sniff it. This bounced all the way off 98 again. ARM's having some trouble with that $100 level. I think we're running out of days that we're going to get to trade 100 on ARM. At least at this rate, with another fail today.
Ooh, ARM, eh? Okay, yeah, that was a good trade there earlier.
By the way, I missed a stink bid on in my personal account. Like when it went to 85 on Friday, I was like, I'm buying on Monday, and I'm gonna get like the low 80s, and I had an order in, and the stock just rallied, and now it's at 100. Like the next time it gets underneath 90 bucks, I'm probably just gonna pick a spot in the middle of the day and buy it.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I just want to be in the stock for long term after selling half, and if you try to be perfect about it, you don't get in.
No, you never do. And
I make that mistake a lot in my long-term account.
Yeah,
a lot.
I mean, getting in and out, and that's why we talked about like maybe never ever do that. Okay, so here we go. We were waiting for 90s, but I did just take a 75 there to add into this position. We've talked about this before. I'm not about to put on anything that's that big. I would have much rather. This was a much bigger trade. Like if we broke lower, remember we talked about having different tools in your toolbox? We do like this short. I like the short anyways, against right there. But remember, this level doesn't need to hold. It's just VWAP, and then that's 17.7 on the NASDAQ. And then after that, that's a pretty key level. We could blast much higher, especially with Meta coming. We've already talked about that as everybody over 600. I don't even know how many likes we have. We probably have less than 600, which would just upset me, so I'm not going to look at it. Hit the like and the subscribe. But like more people are thinking for a breakout, right, in Meta higher. So that's where I'm thinking that, hey, if generally speaking, 50% of our crowd thinks the market Meta is going to be higher, then I could see the NASDAQ trying to run a little bit here into the close. So that would be definitely something that's on my mind as we watch out to see where we're going to go. But there's a little bit of a reload in AMD. We're out if this breaks too much above 152, like 152.10. So that's going to be my target there. Everything else is kind of fine. I'm not into anything. Let's look at Tesla because, again, this is the big one for me today. It's not doing much. I feel like we nailed that level there at 162 because now it ain't doing anything. But right there, 163, that was that past VWAP. But remember, you can throw away absolutely all of the money that you've made on one play. Like all of this is fine, and then all of a sudden, I get excited and think this 163 is going to hold. And if you don't share size and manage your risk properly enough, then when this blows through, then it's gonzos. So we're happy with where we are today. We'd obviously like to add to some of this. I'm happy with this NVIDIA trade or with this AMD trade. But if NVIDIA is going to still stay above this $800, then I don't think AMD is going to come back in at all. So this has a run possibly to 805. This looks like a good short up there at 805. Better than this AMD. AMD at the 200 period, we're already over it. Right? So look at the difference. AMD over the 200 period on a 1 minute, and then NVIDIA still has a ways to climb. So this still hasn't been tested as resistance yet. And it also lines up, kind of like we were talking about DJT, it lines up with past levels here. So I'm just wondering about that 805 being a much better short than the one that we're in right now.
Support to resistance is like the most basic strategy.
Yeah. We like basic strategies around here.
It was the first thing, because it's visually the easiest thing to see on a chart, because you get a level that was already confirmed, and then it gets confirmed in the other direction when it starts trending. So I know when I started trading penny stocks, it was like the number 2 thing that made me money. Was like, oh, if I'm looking at a chart of a stock and it had a support at 25 cents and it goes underneath and there's a big offer at 25 cents, I was just automatically offering 24/7, and you could shave like a tenth of a cent. That was like an automatic trade for me. The other one was back in the day, you used to be able to see the actual market makers individually by name. And I won't lie, a third of my graduation was on one stock and one random no-name market maker that every single time they showed up in the afternoon, it would never break their price. And I would fade them every single time. I see this one, and he showed up for like 100 shares, and it was a reserve order, and like, it just like, oh, there he is. Short it, there he's in the bid, go long. It was very gimmicky, but it was always a lot of fun. IBM reports tonight, and I know there was a question, what do we think about them? I don't know how they're going to report, but I like the fact that they're actually up now after, like yesterday they got destroyed on that HCP rumor, and then today, when they listed that, okay, there's a $35 price, this is what happened to the stock today. Today, it dipped down, tried to break the low, and then reversed and is going higher. So that suggests to me, I don't know anything, I don't really know much about HCP as a company, but very clearly, the market's liking, to a certain extent, the price that they're paying for them. Now, all bets are off. I don't know if they're going to beat or not, but I do know that a lot of times the acquiring company is going to get beat down when they make an acquisition because they got to either issue shares. In this case, it's going to be all cash, so they got to be able to fund it. But I like what I see so far for them. And if it's going to break out, then I'm going to just like that long a little bit better. I'll probably trade HCP tomorrow. I'm short off VWAP on Intel. See the difference between Intel and Micron? Let me just start with Micron. Right? Like one of these things is different. And it should have been, I ended up reloading them both, but it did this wicked VWAP. Let's go re-enter it. But this then breaks VWAP. Let's not mess around. Could have waited for that high, but I'd rather just be in the trade in something else that is showing you the pattern I want, which would be if you're shorting lower highs. If it's something showing me lower highs, if you have an option between two stocks in a very similar setup and you're trying to pick, well, I'd rather short the one that actually has a downward pattern if I can do so. And if I'm going long, I want to go long the one that has a better pattern. Jay Lee, serious question. We like serious questions. We like unserious questions too. If you don't mind giving your thoughts, we all know DJT will dump really hard when owners start selling. What's the best approach to capture the move? Unfortunately, there's no great answer for that, because what you can't do is just guess at when it's going to happen. Oh, DJT is going to start dumping because they'll sell at 50. Like, I don't know. DJT is going to start dumping at this high at 80 because it's 80, or 50 because it's this level. The truth of the matter is you don't know. What you can do, and what my general plan of action with stocks like this is, well, when it breaks a big support level and dumps, look for shorts after the fact. Like, have a look at this. So right here, it's already, like, you get one break of a level down. Probably doesn't give you a second shot at it, but then it breaks another level down, then here's your consolidation. So it breaks a support level here. This is where you can start looking for it. It recovers to 38. You just look for shorts into 38. Every day you get something, and then this day it goes huadong to the downside, and you get a bigger move. And then it does that stair-step thing where you're just shorting the lower highs because now you've got yourself a bit of a trend. So it's just easier to join a trend than it is to predict when it's going to start. Like, let's be real for a second. If we really knew, if anybody really knew when the selling would start in something like DJT or when GameStop was going to fall apart, you know, like, we'd all be retired. It's just not going to be that simple. So the best I could say to you is try not to stand in front of a moving freight train. If a stock like this retraces, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to the downside. The same way there's plenty of opportunity to the upside when, like, the weed stocks bounce. You don't need to be early in the move. Like, look at CGC. Like, does it matter if you got the bottom here? Okay, great. You can feel really good about yourself if you predicted that 3 was going to be a low. But if you just let it break up, look at this consolidation break here at $5. That's not bad risk to reward. There's an out at 430, there's a break of the high, and you don't have to predict. It's already gone, consolidated higher, and giving you a pattern. Makes a higher low, holds a higher low, and bounces again. Like, that's easier for trading because it's trading, and it's not guessing. Like, you at least are trying to go off of something. And I know that's never the answer that anybody wants to hear, but I don't know when DJT is going to fall. I know fundamentally it doesn't have to make sense. But try not to be too predictive, or you're going to get yourself into trouble. Some people saying he won't dump it. He's got loans against it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say, again, I'm not going to predict what someone else is going to do. You just try to react to price action the best you can, and then everything else is sort of gravy. If you have some kind of a great fundamental read on something, there's nothing wrong with that. I think you sometimes want to go left brain, right brain, and just follow the price action if you can. You know what? This is from experience, because on day 2, when DWAC became a thing, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, on day 2, the second day that it started rallying, I was like, fundamentally, this makes no sense. I traded it, was doing a lot of volume. 32 separate trades I had on that stock. I was long 5 times and short 27 times. And the only reason I was flat on the day is because the last short happened to dump. Let's be real. Like, I was fighting it. I had a couple of longs early, and then it got past a certain point. I'm like, I don't believe you. Like, I was long early in the day because it was just momentum, and that was just short. Then this isn't the day that it went to, like, where everybody made the money, the halting day. This was before that happened. But it doesn't matter. I was trying to say fundamentally it should go down, and it was just stupid. Like, you waited for it to trend down, and you're absolutely fine. And I got away with one that day. And you don't want to be a trader that gets away with one. Back into the market here, I just got to fill 34.65. We reloaded our VWAP on Intel. It continues to go into the downside. Obviously, NVIDIA has now failed that 800 level. Let's go to Adara at the big screen.
Lots of stocks in the S&P 500 making outsized moves today that we haven't discussed as much. A lot of them are going to be earnings plays, given that this has been earnings season. First of all, we have Uber. This is tangentially moving off of that Tesla announcement of these robotaxi efforts, including early looks at a ride-hailing robotaxi app. So UBER to the downside here, about 2.5%. We also have Pepsi, day 2 earnings move, initially sold off a bit yesterday, now getting a price target increase from JP Morgan to 181 and trading higher today. And last but not least here, we have Fortive to the downside by about 5%. Earnings, EPS beat, sales miss, and weaker guidance bringing this one to the downside. So a bit of a mixed look here, but earnings definitely moving a lot of these S&P 500 names right now, guys.
Okay, so we're finally getting a little bit of a dump down right now in AMD. So we already reloaded there. We'll see if we can get something out in and around there. That would be good. And the thing is that I'm disappointed about coming back into here. We just refilled our water. Cheers up to everybody. Yeah, cheers, Neil. Let's have a drink.
I just use it as a reminder, right? Like I want to
exactly.
finish it by the end of the show.
Yeah, exactly. That's, yeah, go for it, man. All right, so the best things in life are free. But actually water, I guess you got to pay for water now. All right, so just real quick, NVIDIA already dumped that 800. We had said before that 805, this area there for NVIDIA was cash. Damn it, it just didn't get there. Like that's why I was saying, look, I was typing in VWAP as a symbol that I want to look at. That's hilarious. I want to look at Meta because it's at VWAP. And I just saw somebody in the chat, shout out to you, who mentioned that. Now the problem with this trade, and I don't have a problem taking it, but I'm going to go boom to you out there. You cook this one up. Whoever that was in the chat, put it up if you're there. I'll shout you out again. But or Bears versus Bulls, maybe you know. 495. So the only thing about this is it's lining up absolutely perfect. I may take this. It's just when it was shouted out, it was right around here. We could have done it. But it is also lining up with this level here of 495. So I actually think this is a great short. If this wasn't earnings day for Meta, I would probably be all over this like crazy because it's down 0.55 right now. The market is up. It's under VWAP. Market just under VWAP, getting ready to cook. I like this short. You know what? Maybe we can take it. We don't need to be afraid that it's earnings, do we? I mean, I just get nervous that the technicals that I've studied over and over again, you know, could be something, and even to lose $100 or something, it's not worth it because it's going to break, and I'm going to be like, oh man, why did I take that? There's earnings. So let's just watch it. I'll put this in my mind, and we'll think about it. But that is a great trade. So whoever mentioned that, awesome. And a great idea. I'm just going to stick with trading these names after earnings. We didn't trade really Tesla yesterday, and then today I already told you we put damage in this name as well. So good name right into there today. Only short that didn't work was the last one, and early right there. We shorted, it worked until it didn't, and it broke that high, and then we waited for that key level of 168 that we really liked on the sticky note and brought that all the way down there for $10. So that was a good winner at the end of the day, but still, I'm gonna leave. I mean, look at Tesla. You just actually mentioned, Neil, about Netflix. Like,
yo, what the Netflix,
if
man?
we think, yeah, like talk
no.
about day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 plays. Like Netflix is down 4% again. Huge move yesterday. Look at this. Earnings day after into here Friday. Earnings back up. Now to the downside. Okay, so there's a lot. What a surprise! I was going to call up TikTok. We can't do anything about it. Just news that there are potential buyers for TikTok.
Shaq's probably trying to buy it.
Like,
too.
what a surprise! Well, we already heard that there was Steve Mnuchin and group there that were really interested in this one. They ain't buying it.
No, I don't want thing that prints money. No, who would want that?
No, I think TikTok, I mean, it'll be good that it'll be divested, and then that's it. Nothing will change. Hopefully they'll keep the algorithms the same, and we'll see what happens.
But I am, like, when I was saying I don't think it'll be Meta, like, legitimately, like, I do not, the way the FTC has been going, there's just no way that they're allowing they don't want the big tech doing reasonable acquisitions. Why would they allow one of the big names to get TikTok? It would go just against everything that's been happening the last few years when it comes to any kind of mergers or any kind of acquisition. I just really hate what happened in Netflix today. That's my only, like, we always talk about day 2 and day 3. It's like, okay, like, let things simmer down. Well, like, yesterday seemed like, hey, great. There's the flush. 2 days ago, not yesterday, 2 days ago, you had the breakdown under 550 and immediate retracement back. Holds the 550. Higher low breakout, goes right into resistance. All you wanted to do is hold a higher low here and then break out the top. Now it's right back at 550. Yeah, that stinks. That absolutely stinks. It's enough to, like, for me, a lot of these things that I own, when they broke underneath like the 50-period moving average, that was like a sign to just start taking out. Like, the reason why I sold some Lily is like, do I want to take some profit? It broke to 50-period, and I was like, I didn't get anything out there. I'm like, oh, there's a gift. I can now get it out again yesterday. Like, oh, let's go ahead and do it. I'm kind of wishing I had thought the same thing for Netflix. Oh, and by the way, Disney had news and is up. I don't have the thing anymore. No, that's cool. The X-Men the X-Men 97. They have like a specialty comic with an Xbox controller thing that they're selling for it. I don't know. Like you said, you don't even do Disney, but X-Men 97 is cool. I'm older. I was into that cartoon a lot. But Disney's holding up pretty decently at the 50 period. Do not want this stock failing it. Like, you're just on the precipice for so many names. That is not saving it. Like, you know, there's people that want to take some profit when you get a run like this. And that 50 period fails and you break down, I'm always thinking trend short after that happens. And maybe that's what's happening to Netflix here. We'll see. But it doesn't look good if we lose this low. The 200 period looms, where I'm not a buyer because I sold a little bit, but I didn't sell enough that I'm automatically a buyer there. If this gets to the 200 period, I promise you I like a lot of things better. And that'll be some big tech names. I'm always dollar cost averaging in the Qs. I buy the market once a month, regardless of what's happening in it. Individual stocks are a different story.
Today we get Chipotle Mexican Grill out after market. That should be a good one. We do have them splitting, so join me on the market recap show. We'll talk about all of that. I don't think they split in...
It's the middle of the...
Yes, I do, Ramin. I like the salad bowls for Chipotle. So you can get the Chipotle burritos,
My daughter has
I have the
gymnastics.
recap show, and then I got the. Where is Chipotle around here anyway?
I have no idea where the Chipotle is. On University? But University
where?
in what?
It's like kind of near
University
University of Dundas. It's a couple streets closer than Dundas.
in Dundas? That's not that close. I mean, it's not that far either, but
okay.
it's a little bit of a walk. No,
All
I
right,
mean,
we'll
like
get
I would.
Chipotle ordered in.
No, like today is like I'm eating Subway
There
and I'm
is-
out the door to gymnastics. I had no time today.
Yeah, we.
I've eaten Chipotle once I told you this, once in my entire life I've had Chipotle. Once.
Yeah. Yeah. I really want Ramin's voice to be public.
100%.
Okay, the thing about it is, yeah, I'm not even home till 8 tonight, so that should be, Chipotle's a good one. Anyways, we're gonna watch out for that. I think Chipotle up here 3,000, we're gonna take that out. They're gonna be operating at a high level. We already know that. The split is coming. I feel like you had your dip buy opportunities. Wait out for Chipotle Mexican Grill. Once this goes 50 to 1, wow. You've never seen me trade this? I guarantee you I will be all over CMG. Like, I never traded Amazon before until Amazon split. Same with Google. And then the next one to split, which will come as an announcement, I believe. NVIDIA. What's going to happen to NVIDIA? It's going to be a Tesla moment where they're going to disappoint, but they're going to advise on a split, which is going to rally the stock, and everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. The EV market does blow, but oh yeah, we are getting the robo-taxis, so all is good, right? So that's sort of what I think is going to happen with NVIDIA. They may guide, but the minute they guide lower, that's when we see the true colors, and you buy this thing in and around 650, 700 after earnings. But until then, I think you got to hold and be patient with this one. We do have AMD coming through. I'm short AMD now. It's not doing anything. I was actually looking at NVIDIA and thinking about shorting that one as well against that 800. AMD is next week. If not, why do I think May 9th?
I just saw
April 30th. Perfect.
the vote on the split's not till June 16th.
Right, that's what I was
That's
saying. It doesn't
way
happen till the
far
summer.
out.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
No, the vote is a yes. It just doesn't
No, it'll be a
happen.
yes,
Yeah.
but like it can't happen until after that. So that's
Right.
mid-June we have to wait for that.
Yes, yes.
And to that point about not trading things before they split,
Here comes
I 100% agree. I traded
Let's go.
Amazon one time, and I would like to think that I was completely right on the idea, but it was a $2,000 stock, and I was like, what I thought was reasonable on the spread of the break was not exactly how it went. So suffice to say that the prices that you're getting on the slippage was even more than I thought it was going to be based on how it was trading. And then the second Amazon splits, it's so tradable, and we love it. I want Broadcom to split. I can't wait for AVGO to be a little bit more tradable. As a trader, you just love it. It doesn't really matter. The only positive is, can you get yourself into the Dow, and then it's just easier for options for everybody, because then around lots of, obviously a little bit less expensive if you have to get the shares. So we're short two names. One's going down, which is good. That's Intel. The other one's not doing anything. Like Rivian is doing absolutely nothing. So 345, I'm just going to take some out because it's not moving. I got a bid at the low of the day. Probably not even worth it there. Let's go to 75 because that's more reasonable. We'll put it in here. And if we go down, great. If we break up and pass like 885 in here or maybe 86, I'm just going to jump out of this. So it's kind of a break-even stop now as we're getting into the imbalances. But yeah, we're working on Intel. You got to pick the ones that are moving, or at least relatively strong, relatively weak. And with NVIDIA underneath that 800, you want it to be a chip name.
Like I'm okay sometimes when I get like you know, some flack or whatever for sitting there and kind of just like burning through trades in the afternoon. I've realized that sometimes I'll do that. So that's why right now, if AMD can pull back, like we just took a 200 period, I'm also going to take another 20 right there. And I'm trying to be as patient as possible with this trade. I've talked about why I think the pullback is going to be here. At AMD, NVIDIA is now under 800. We'll watch out for that. Let's check out on Donald J again because DJT. Right now, 36 and change. Okay, so here's a perfect example. We're now under the 50-period moving average. So you see, what I would do now is, if I was long, and if you guys were long, I mean, you right into here, this would be the level for me right now that I'd be looking at. So take this into consideration. Again, your trade, but if you break through here, like the next area is 35, where you have some support. So I would say keep your money and maybe get out at 35.50. The worst you're going to lose is $1.50 on this if you're stuck at the very top. So I like this trade into the close. I always think it's a warning shot when stocks are going to break the 50 period. They could easily, that's the purpose of VWAP, they could come back into volume weighted average price. So that wouldn't surprise me if we end the day somewhere around here, or even breaking that 37. To me, there's not a trade unless you go long at the 200 at 35.28 and then try to bounce it off that 34.70, which is right there. So I would say you either trade in the middle of this and hope to get a bump up, and if not, you get out there for 50-cent hit. I think that's worth it. Other than that, I would leave this name alone until tomorrow. There's only now, wow.
3 minutes.
Talk about like not realizing the time. There's only 3 minutes left, and then we're going to get you're saying 3 minutes left, like puff, puff, pass. What are these guys doing exactly in Canada? But we're talking about the last of the imbalances. So they're going to come out at 350, and then they will influence the market. So these were all from 9:30, right? At 350, they're all going to get updated. So like, for example, my position AMD right here, which is now starting to go back up, despite NVIDIA going down, okay, that could be a sell imbalance. And if it is, then we will get a nice downside move for AMD, right? So we're going to have to wait for that. Apple, we are in such a small piece of this, but again, we're going to be responsible for the trade. If it breaks above where we're at right now, then we're going to get out. We did hold, again, about 20% or maybe less than that for this bottom. We should have taken it. We were waiting for VWAP. That didn't come through. So my out for this is 169.30, which is coming up right now for Apple. So let's take that out, and then we'll regroup on this imbalance. Maybe I'll put it to 169.50.
Well, I only put that there because I saw Big Patty Ice, shout out to him, he just rolled past. And, you know, back in the day, I remember the trading floor when there would be a Leaf playoff game, and I used to feel like half the floor would be in their Leaf gear. I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but like now, I think he's the only guy in his Leafs gear. And we got the Bruins tonight. The Leafs are ahead in the series in my books because if you win one on the road,
not just in your books, in everyone's.
Yeah, in everyone's books. You win one on the road and you're ahead. So I know that's brown.
You know what, Neil? Just like you, I think everybody's getting older. And you had mentioned that you're not. You go to bed what time? Because the game starts at, I don't know what time.
Look, if I'm being like, I gotta keep. I'm up at 4:30 every single day. I'm generally in bed 9 to 9:30. So I will if.
So you might be able to see it. Is it 7 or 7:30?
No, like what I'm able to do is as we're getting ready for stuff, like I have the Sportsnet app on my phone, and so I'll be like doing
7. You'll be fine.
I'll be doing stuff, and I'll have no, but I don't get home from gymnastics until 8:30.
Oh yeah, I'm not home till 9. Yeah, but you'll be at least be able to
At gymnastics, I can have it up while I'm watching my daughter, and then when I get home, I'll have it on my phone until I go to sleep. But then if it goes, late in the game, I'll have to watch in the morning. Like, I just kind of watch like those longer highlights. You know, the ones where it's like the condensed version.
Yeah.
I can watch that on
game in an hour or whatever.
Yeah, but I used to stay up.
That's what I'm saying.
What is with the extreme? That's an extreme close-up. That's a little bit too much there. It's too much.
That's crazy to get up that early, dude. I don't know how you do that, but congratulations.
But I was
for
up
doing that.
when I were in high school. I used to wake up at 5:30 every single day.
Yeah,
since
yeah.
I was in junior high. Like I would just in high school, I do it for morning basketball and track practice.
That's what I was gonna say. I get it for people they like to work out early or something like that. Sometimes
it's some habit.
Sometimes I'll get myself up at. Well, I mean, I'm always awake 6:30ish.
But Gia does it, so it's like. But
Yeah,
she does it
to
for
go
sports.
train.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
no,
I'm
but you know what ends up happening, and I don't know if it'll happen for her, is once you do that as a pattern, like you just get more comfortable with it, and it just
Yeah. No, I
just how
can't.
it is
I'm just
for
saying
you.
how early that is. That's all. I'm not saying. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting up that early. Just that's early.
It'll serve her well, man. Like it builds good.
Oh, don't worry about her. She'll be. I'm worried about you. No, and I shouldn't be worried about you.
I'm older now.
That's what I'm saying. I already said that. It's old. It's age. Okay, here we go. With
20
only
seconds.
a couple seconds left, we're gonna watch out for AMD right now. This one, we already have our trigger out, breaking through 152. This is light trade. We're getting out of it. Apple's the one here that we're worried about as well, with only a couple seconds to go. Let's see what this number comes out with, and then, of course, Adara will blast it in our chat, and we will hence get it to you on that. So, all right, nice little push down. Let's take advantage a little bit on that because AMD is out. So we'll take that out right now at 158 as it does push back in. All right, so other than that, Starbucks with a big buy. I'm looking for Meta to see if there's anything on here. AMD, I don't see. Amazon with a sell, not doing much. There's Apple with a buy.
Ford was there.
Actually, Apple went down to one. You know what? Was Ford there?
Ford's at the
Ford.
top.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ford reports tonight, don't they? Or tomorrow morning?
No, it's
Tonight.
No, we checked. It's aftermarket
night.
tonight.
Yeah.
I thought it was usually in the morning, but Ford is aftermarket tonight. So get locked and loaded. GM blew it out of the water. GM blew it out of the water, but then was a boring trade the next day, unless you shorted it. But Ford, yeah, they've been doing pretty well. There's the board. Look, Ford, IBM. We've already talked about IBM, and you know the big one is Meta, allegedly saving the markets. Apparently, Chipotle is going to be there tomorrow morning. Look, I'm a big I love Caterpillar.
We gone.
But then the name that I have been loathing and I got out of was Mobileye. I didn't even realize they report tomorrow morning. So keep an eye. I mean, obviously, you always have to keep an eye on Intel. It's not nearly as bad as it was. They found some kind of support, but
they
it's
came
been
back
best.
up.
Yeah, they came back up a little bit. I was able to get out. Royal Caribbean and American Airlines, if you're into the travel names, as well. AstraZeneca, don't care. Southwest, obviously more. Bristol Myers and Merck, I don't think I've ever traded either one of them. That said, you know, if you're gonna, the days to look at them would be on earnings. The problem with Mobileye for trade is it's not very liquid. So it'll probably be a mover. It's just really tricky. You got to get a great entry spot because the spread is sometimes stupid on that.
All right, thank you, Ramin. I will retweet this. We do join me tonight for the Ooh. Did I already retweet that? It already has 500 views. Nice. Okay, join me tonight as we're going to have Meta on board real soon. And you better your money that's going to be a hot release. So we'll have to wait for that one. If you like money, then spin it with me because there's Apple. We'll just take 20 cents to end the day on that one. Apple positive stock, AMD positive stock, Google positive stock, Roblox negative stock, and Tesla, the money maker today as we take that $10 right there, top to bottom on Tesla. I mean, we've got that top and we've got that bottom. That is 168. That is 158. That is $10. Someone tweeted at me and said, what's up with the purples? What does that mean? Those are short sells, my guy, all the way to the downside. We have no longs on Tesla today, but Tesla long's been gorgeous. Like, all you had to do is wait for these levels. We picked the top and the bottom today, so that is
another one.
Okay, and then now right here, we're gonna try to do something with AMD, but we can only do what the market gives us, and right now, I just feel like we're in a good name. We just missed that short. Well, actually, no, we canceled the short, my bad. We canceled the short as those imbalances came out. We were sitting here at 80. So, whoa, if the market was still open for a couple more minutes and we didn't have those imbalances, we probably would have been really, really smoking right now. Here at Real Trading, you may know that we use something called LFT, loss from top. I'm finishing the day with 0 loss from top. So I'm pretty happy with that. You know, we could have always traded better, but when you're at your highest spot and it's 354, it ain't that bad.
Shouldn't complain, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could wind up losing on this trade, but we only have such a small piece now that even if this goes back up to one, you know what? Anyways, the stop is at 152. So hopefully we don't wind up losing on this one. But at the end of the day, today was a pretty good day. And it was all really thank you to Mr. Elon Musk and company. So that was a great quarter. See, there, that thing. See, that spikes right into that. But that's okay. It's all about real trading, baby. Go sign up immediately for real trading. The idea here is I'm going to be trading earnings for a while. So get ready on that. Tomorrow should be a real fun day with Meta. I've already voted down. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like it's going to, like I said, I feel like it's going to be a good quarter. It's just
up, everyone's
where is the guy? Yeah, I know everyone's saying that. Everyone thought Tesla as well.
No, that was
going down.
50-50. Yesterday was 44 to 40.
Yeah, but then there was
No, and then flat was the rest. So it was very split. This is
very split.
This is tilted to up for Meta, which is interesting because
like
Meta's at the highs. Like if you would feel a stock that's higher up, it would be more difficult.
What did you vote?
No, I voted down as well. Like, and again, it's probably a little bit of bias. I keep looking at these charts in the 50 period on the daily and reversing the trend. I look at the chart and it feels like you're in a pullback. But wow, okay, really? 355.
Oh, it just flipped over, yeah.
Yeah, so 355 hit. I was already out of Intel and it just tagged the low of the day. But the one thing I want to mention here is
Intel,
underneath VWAP, these guys don't report till tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, so tomorrow after market. Sometimes they get to the middle of the week and it's like, what day is it, old man? No, these guys have been relatively weak for a while. I've been wrong about this before in terms of the price action. I don't think they're going to report well, but then the last time I said that, they didn't report well, and it was like the worst quarter ever, and they were up like 10%. It made no sense. And all I will say is, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you know you have a bias in the stock as to what you think should happen, sometimes, and it's going the other way, sometimes just don't trade it. It's easier to stay away. Like that was the case with the solar names. When they started rallying, I'm like, why? Okay, well, if I think they were short too much, then don't trade it because they're rallying today. And Enphase got out of hand at one point. Just stay away. But these guys are they're gonna lead the chips, and I don't think they're gonna lead them off with a base hit. They're probably gonna work the count full and strike out.
Man, there's Ford, there's Lam Research, LRCX is coming through, and this is, I believe.
I like Lam as a company.
Let me double check because again, for the market recap show, join me. We do, and I screw this up all the time. We do all our own bookings. So today we do have Chris Brether on, so he has confirmed that one, and he does want to talk about Lam. So LRCX. Right there coming through. And I know a lot of you are looking forward to Meta, Ford, IBM, Murda. What's up, Murda? Let's go check out what Meta's doing here into the close. So down on a day where we're up. So let's see if that does give us a little bit of an indication here. This is going to suck because, hey, man, we got to do what we got to do around here. But I'm just going to put a bid here, get out for flat on AMD. But I think this closes a little bit lower here. I just want to get over to the desk and be ready for that for you. So I'm going to bid this right now. There's only 3 minutes left, so regardless, come on, guys. I'm at one. There we go. All right, I'm at 154. So we just got hit right there. That's exactly what our average price was. So boom goes the dynamite. We're out of here. Only 2 minutes to go. That's it, man. LRCX is going to be a big one for sure.
I almost forgot about them.
Yeah, and Chris has a big trade lined up for them, so we'll see if they're coming. I just heard in my ear, it's like 408, 405, 410. All the big ones are coming through. So, all right, good day.
Great day. Lam is it's so similar to AMAT and ASML. Like they're in the chip space, but they're like the machine supply there. I think that's a big one. It can be a good bellwether. So we do get some interesting chip news. That's fantastic. Like I thought we'd have to wait until Intel, and you got something a little bit more interesting to watch those chips tomorrow. So I'm going to be back looking at the chips almost guaranteed. If Lam moves big, I can expect ARM is going to do a little bit, which is what we're all about here. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We appreciate you too, Mr. Mendoza, Mr. McIsaac as well. Taz saying check GME before the close. Sure. Did GME keep going? Yeah, GME kept going on. There was some social media chatter, and thank you to Adara for putting this, because I didn't see anything on GameStop, but there was bullish options, attention, and lots of mentions on social media, which, sometimes that's enough for it to go. I don't know why I'm right-clicking that or why that was like cycling, but just looking at where this thing is on the daily chart, great. It's up 7.5% today. That's telling you a bigger story. So a good little bounce off $10. Maybe it has some continuation, although without something fundamental or a reason behind it, can it really squeeze? I don't know if it's going to give us the big squeeze that we want. But under 1 minute to go in here, Gatekeeper, I can say that one. GME is like the drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. I disagree with that because everyone's got that uncle that's fun on Thanksgiving. And I don't think GME's been a heck of a lot of fun for anybody. Definitely some parties to be had if you haven't checked out Dumb Money. Definitely worth it. Tobias saying, look at DJT aftermarket. Look, you can. I'm sure if DJT does something aftermarket, Sean and Adara will be all over it. But let's be real. We got Meta. We have Lam Research. You got IBM. You got Chipotle. There's a lot to dig into that have reasons that you know they're going to move aftermarket. But if DJT does something, I promise you Sean will be all over it. I just don't know if there's anything hitting the wire. But let's get the camera on to Adair, as we mentioned, as we drop the countdown on a hump day Wednesday on Meta earnings in 4, 3, 2, and there it is. Obviously, the market closes. Look, it's a weekday, but the NASDAQ closes a little bit up because we never broke zero, and the ES closed it exactly flat according to what I saw. That didn't matter. You had big moves on Tesla, double digits. You had big moves on DJT, GameStop, and all that good stuff. So there was plenty to trade, whether you wanted to be in the EV space or the chip space or the weed space or the DJT space. Lots of opportunities, and what is a fantastic market. Shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the ones and twos as always, and kicking butt all week long with our breakout trading strategies. Learn to trade. Both Adara and Sharif, and Adara doing quadruple or quintuple duty. I've lost count at this point. She'll be on the desk as well. Shout out to Brennan. Fantastic guest this afternoon, as he always kicks butt. But hey, we got earnings to get to. So let's not waste any time. You got Meta earnings, as we said. That is going to be the big bellwether. Can they save the market? Those weren't my words. I don't think they have to, but I voted that they would be down, and we're about to find out. Let's get on up to the recap show. It is Sean and Adara, and go Leafs go.
All right, what's up, everybody? Thank you for that throw. What's up, Adara? Hope you're doing well. But we're getting ready to rock and roll immediately right now. Join us with the market recap show, Real Traders Stay Late. Thanks for that cup today, by the way. That was a lot of fun. We got a nice little gift there, which was fun. We will be showing you guys Benzinga Pro. So as we get this going, we will get the earnings. We'll get them in our ear. I've got Benzinga in my ear as well. The minute I see anything come through, we're going to try to get that. I also have the chat open. So if anything is in here, let me know what you guys see. We are waiting aggressively for Meta. We are waiting for IBM right now. Potentially out, but I don't think so.
IBM's 410.
Okay, IBM is 410. Thank you for that. Meta. The other one is LRCX. We'll wait for Lam Research right now. Nice name for Lam. Looking at what these guys have been doing on the daily chart. Nice push back down in for this chip maker. We'll have to wait to see what happens with Lam Research coming through there on the equipment side. I don't see anything yet. That's Lam, IBM, and then Meta. As soon as Meta comes in my ear, we're going to get it to you immediately. So, I mean, just today, if we're going to talk about some of the movements that we've had today, I'm going to get rid of UNG because, quite frankly, it's always moving, so we don't really need to see that. Today, we talked about some of the Chinese ETFs going through. Bob, a nice move up. FXI, a nice move today. What a down day again. The Qs was fine. The reason why I say down day for the Qs is if you zoom out, does this look like it was an update to you? Come over here. Who's over there today? Who is that? My guy. All right, Fabian, what's up, Matt? All right, there it is. Look at this move down all day for the Qs until finally bouncing back up and then fading out a little bit. We'll wait to see what happens here at the end of the day. Look at what happened to NVIDIA today, Adara. Down 3.5%. Goes, okay, no earnings out yet. Look what happens with NVIDIA closing near the lows of the day, down at 495 as that keeps on going. So thank you so much, Danny, there in the chat. Is Adara LePage related to Adam LePage?
I've not heard of Adam LePage.
That's a no. All right, so right here, Meta coming, not out yet.
I have it up. I'll
okay,
see
good.
when it comes. Yeah.
She'll get it for us immediately. Today, you do get a little bit of a pullback in XLF, down 0.37 right there. I'm a little nervous about Meta because let's check out our friend Netflix. Boom to the downside, tried to get going. I thought they had a good quarter. Watch out for a break there on Netflix. I want to thank everybody. I've got the chat right here right now. So we're not going to do roll call, but we've got the chat here, and we're ready to rock and roll. If I see anybody put anything up there in the chat, we will get you those earnings immediately. XLP, nice move to the upside today. Of course, consumer staples. The biggest proponent in consumer staples is Tesla. So Tesla today up 12%. That's a banger. Who had Tesla today? Tesla, my number one trade today. The number one trade on the sticky note today was Tesla up at 168. We'll see if we can rinse and repeat that tomorrow. Okay, Tesla, let's go. 3-minute chart. Right there, we had this short. I'm not logged into my system. We'll get that in a minute. I wanted to run over here and get this to you. So watch Meta, man. The implied move, actually, I don't even know what the implied move was there on Meta. We'll go to Market Chameleon to find that out. But right now, Tesla moving around 163. Nice little move here, even in the aftermarket, as we start to go back to the upside. Tesla today talking all kinds of nice like, man. Here, let's look at this. So here was the board today. Look what Google's doing. Today, the major indices, including the NASDAQ, gave up early gains midday, but mega cap stocks started to break down. Hey,
You got Meta.
Okay, Meta is now out, so here we go.
So they have revenue, 36.455 million.
Oh, no.
Beating, that's a beat, or sorry, billion. It's a beat here. The way this is worded is weird, but it is billions. It's a beat.
I hate
then
being
how
right,
do you do an
but-
EPS here? EPS beat. They beat.
Okay, they did not. They're getting crushed. Whether or not they beat or not, down goes Meta right now. So we'll go breaking news. It's Meta, and it's a Meta fail to the downside. Dump, dump, dump. There goes Meta. We're 2 for 2 in earnings calls, baby. Tesla upside, Meta downside. Not only that, we put our money where our mouth is. We got out of some Meta a couple days ago
smart.
with their.
That's smart.
Is it smart? I don't know.
Well, they said they were expecting a significantly large, meaningful increase in year-over-year in Reality Labs losses. So
there we go.
That's a pretty bad look there.
We had
for
talked about
META.
this guide. There it is. Bang, Henry Chung. Not only are we a trader, we're a prognosticator. There goes downside on Meta. Get out wherever you want, but that's the downside for Meta. The whole market is dump, dump, dump right now. Look at the triple Qs. Ciao. We've been talking about this short for a minute. Welcome all of you here. Who's with your boy right now? Over 4,000 are here right now. Man, we nailed this. I'm not happy about this. I am hella long, but we did sell some Meta. 485, 495. We had been talking about that all day. Lamb Research is out. LRCX is now out. I think Ford is out as well.
Ford's out, yeah.
Boom. We talked about Ford going upside. Watch Tesla, look at Ford. Ford, a huge move right now. Snapchat feeling ways. Snapchat down 6% on the back of this Meta number. Ford, what are the Ford numbers there? Get them to
yeah,
me.
they have
Start
them.
Going.
So we had, they did declare a dividend, 15-cent per share dividend. What else happened here? So these numbers coming out here saying that they have quarterly revenue $42.8 billion. They remain on track to achieve $2 billion in cost reductions. So cost reductions, we know people like this. Also expecting costs to improve going forward, specifically for EVs. They're going to be offset by top line pressure, but they do expect EV costs to improve. We know how much we're looking at EVs in this market, especially after Tesla earnings yesterday. So not at all a bad look here for Ford, especially with that dividend. Saying lots of stuff the market likes right now.
Yep, we like that. Thanks to Dara for that one. Look at LRCX right now. A lot of people liking LRCX. The problem here with Meta, man. Meta, as we talk about, daily active 3.24 billion, up 7%. I feel like that's a little light. We'd like to see more than that. Lamb Research, Q3 right now. EPS 779, smashing 730. Sales smashing. We'll wait to see what the forward guide is. That's what this market is looking for. So here we go. IBM to acquire, cash deal. So shout out to all my buyout traders. You'll be able to make money on day 1 and day 2, and then hopefully you'll stop. $35 right there for HashiCorp. Nice dollar right there, 6.4 billion. We'll see what happens right there with HashiCorp. There it is right there, Meta, Q2 sales revenue. That's going to be a problem. 36 to 39 versus 38. That is a monster miss for Meta. Downside, this could get worse for META, 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 Meta. Let me draw an anchored VWAP to Meta here and see exactly what we're talking about right now. Uh-oh, we are well below. Look at that. Oh yeah, man, we nailed this one, Adara.
Yeah, it's not bad. Look,
I can't be happy with it other than the fact that we were able to get some out. We've been talking about the short in this name. Meta now down 11%. It does feel good to be right. And today we are on that one. Not only that, we also, I know Neil sold some of his Ford. We didn't get out of any Ford. I'm looking to get out of some Ford, maybe up here near $14, and then we'll see where we go from there. At some point. Danielle Shea. Is Danielle Shea in the chat? Miss Danielle Shea is also in the chat. But it's Chris Brether day today. He wants to talk all about LRCX, all about ASML, and some of the calls that he had on there as well. But look at Meta. Meta continuously still going down, man. 440. Where will we stop? It's Meta time, and it is a bad one. IBM, though, the other way. Okay. I mean, IBM downside on the Hashi news. Remember, they're paying $6.4 billion for HashiCorp. So that makes kind of sense that IBM potentially going to the downside. But look at this, Adara. IBM 168 versus 160. That's a beat. Also, sales miss.
yeah, I saw the sales miss.
So you have anything else for us?
Yeah, for IBM, I mean, that sales miss is pretty bad. They're saying for the full year, they expect constant currency revenue growth consistent with the mid-single digit model. So that's not a raise at all there for IBM. Also saying they expect about $12 billion in free cash flow. So IBM, that miss definitely hitting them hard because that was a nice EPS beat. But yeah, in general, we know sometimes when acquisitions are announced, it causes the company acquired to go up and the company doing the acquiring to go down. I think especially the timing of this with earnings did not necessarily help IBM here.
Yeah, we like that. We like that. We like that. Good call there, Adara. Yeah, when you are spending that money. Who's trading Meta tomorrow? You guys are hilarious. Yeah, we'll be all over Meta, man. My number one trade today was Tesla. I'll get that locked and loaded, and we can talk all about that. We made about 15% of our month in Tesla today alone. So that was a good one, man. And we are really proud of that. So shout out to that. We'll be looking at Meta. Meta's now basically in chill mode. It's not doing a whole heck of a lot. For me, unfortunately, the air up here is pretty thin. There is no room, like down to $400. We don't see any levels right here. This is why just the other day, and a shout out to Danielle, she talked about some butterflies on this name. Go find Danielle Shea on YouTube to get some of those plays. I don't see, by the way, Fabian Chris on my screen over here. So I don't know if this is logged in properly or not. All right, so 500 to 511 right now, trying to push down here for Meta platforms. I'm not sure where we're going to go on this trade. Ramin, do we have to be logged into Zoom so I can see Chris on this? Yeah, okay, we'll get that all figured out because we do have Chris Brether coming in just a minute. The other name that's out right now, CMG is out. And although me and Ramin are going to have a date and go to CMG, What's CMG, she says. Okay, Chipotle. We're going to go get some Chipotle right there. Nice move up to 3,000, so they are winning right here. There's Chipotle, Mexican grill right now. I haven't had Chipotle in like probably 3 or 4 years, to be honest with you. Q1 adjusted EPS 13 versus 11. Hello. Nice beat there. Nice beat on sales. And remember when we were watching the show today? I said Chipotle's going to 3,000. And you know what? It ain't rocket science. It's going to break out. Look at this trade for Chipotle. Did you buy $3,000 calls? I hope you did. We talked about that one. You know what else is out now? What's up to Frank Slootman and ServiceNow? ServiceNow is actually getting hit here in the after hours. ServiceNow is getting pumped. Down to the downside, their numbers not great either. ServiceNow EPS adjusted 341 versus 314. That's good. Sales also a beat, but it is a downside move for ServiceNow. We're going to find out where that guide is exactly. Doesn't look like it's going to be good. Operating margin, look at Chipotle. Hey, man, when their food doesn't have salmonella in it, they are operating great. 60, that's a story from like 10 years ago. You guys probably don't remember that. But anyways, 16% versus 15. As we've seen margins in things like Tesla go to the downside. Chipotle still doing well. We've seen McDonald's increase their prices 100% in, what was it, 10 years, something like that, due to inflation. Inflation up 30%. McDonald's up 100%. Chipotle's actually relatively in line. I think their price is only up 39% versus inflation adjusted 31%. So that's going on right now. Now, I don't know when the Meta conference is, but once they're on, we're going to get it for you immediately. Where did my Benzinga Pro go? I just want to see if there's any other news coming through here about anything. So ServiceNow, Chipotle, no, we don't have anything right now on Meta. The thing that we have to look for everybody, let's look at some of the other stocks. What about Snapchat? Snapchat down 7 right now. Yuck. Sell Snapchat. We'll find out more about Meta. Adair, do some more work for me on Meta, because there's no way that's just a Meta Labs thing. I feel like there's something else there that we might have missed. I don't see it on Benzinga. You guys let me know. Still over 4,000 of you watching. We are going to get locked and loaded. Whenever Chris is ready, let me know, because I'm ready for this guy.
Oh, okay, there's some more stuff on Meta as well. So basically saying that they're continuing to monitor the regulatory landscape just due to these overall increasing regulatory headwinds in the UK and the US. We know the FTC is very busy. Now the CMA as well in Europe coming after some companies. So Meta does have every reason to be a bit concerned there. So that definitely not a positive note. Their quarterly ad revenue was really nice though. Grew pretty nicely year over year here. So yeah, 35.6 billion versus 28.1 billion last year.
All right, so there you go. And look at the letter F here, Ford, just saying, you know what? Hey, man, EVs win yesterday, although they didn't. But Ford wins today. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look at the screen immediately. We are a mountain goat, baby.
Whew. It's a nice look.
I like that. Sponsored by Real Trading. Is it a Ram? No, I've been confirmed that it's a mountain goat. I've already asked the marketing department about that. But I think it might be a Ram.
It'd be like a bull, a really aggressive bull.
It could be something like that. All right, are we ready? Yes, sir. Then let's go. Let's go. It's Chris Brether. LRCX. Hey, Chris. How are you?
Hey there. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just as good as ever, my guy. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. We had one day last year when it was 7 degrees. It busted a lot of our irrigation pipes, so I have somebody working on that. So if you hear the Ring doorbell go off, you know what it is.
Okay,
but,
as long as you got those snakes in a cage, because I know they were running around your house there for a minute.
They're back in a room, thank goodness, but I still don't trust them. So
for me, I'm not a reptile guy. I don't know. I don't trust those things. We have an axolotl. My son has an axolotl. I don't know if you know what those are. Those are pretty cool as well.
My daughter sold a snake to a 10-year-old girl that she sent a picture of the snake wrapped around her neck and her on a swing set with it.
Okay, I don't know if some parents should be getting involved with that or not. All right, let's talk about the market. It's always great to go back and forth with you, obviously. You sent a note to me about ASML and LRCX. So we just had Lam Research come out right now, up 1%, not really doing anything in the after hours. But why don't we discuss what you had talked about with me there in the email. You've always come with some great ideas, especially looking at some companion trades. So what do you have for us, Chris, right now? It looks like you're going to talk a little bit of NVIDIA.
Well, the first thing I wanted to talk about was the reversion to the mean trade on the close. So I was sort of kidding around because a sprinkler person's here and it's going to cost me probably $300.
Yep.
So the thing is that we did an SPX put fly on the close at 60 cents, sold it at $1.40, it closed at $3.50, which would have paid for the sprinkler person. But the whole point is, even though it was on the close, when you have big earnings like Meta coming out, a lot of times that SPX at the last minute goes back to unchanged, which is what it did, which is pretty exciting. So I thought I'd show you just a little trader trick in there. And it also worked in Meta.
Okay.
So when Meta was up 9 earlier, it went back to be down for the day. And then when it was down 5, when it was up 9, it went unchanged. When it was down 9, it went back to unchanged. It's amazing how they revert to the mean.
Before we continue, Chris, I just want to bring up, we have over 3,500. Come to my screen quickly if you can. Ramin or Fabian over there. We have over 3,500 people watching. I want to thank every single one of you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. It's been a big, big show, and everyone's here for Meta earnings, IBM, Lam Research, ServiceNow, Chipotle. Look at this move here, Chris. Meta absolutely to the downside. I sold Meta the other day at 485. I'll find the exact price, up into here. We had the 50-period moving average, and to me on the daily, I don't know about you, but I saw Netflix. I saw the response to that. I saw Tesla come out with a bad report. And I was just thinking that, hey, maybe tech names are overheated here a little bit right now. I was favoring the short in Meta. Was there anything that potentially you saw that could have helped or saved the longs, or potentially something that might have got you into the short? Right now, Meta's down 12%.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I'll go over ASML and Lam Research in a minute. But the other thing was, and this sounds weird, but it works, is you watch the transports today get destroyed. So the transport's testing the low from last week. Right there.
Yep.
So you have what's going on down here, and you get that the MACD, the MACD is starting to roll over. So the transports are testing there. So on the right, you have this. So give me 1 second.
Yeah. Take your time. You want me to let you load it up? We can load that up. So the thing that I was worried
yeah, this Gardner is calling right now. Give me 1 second.
All right, go deal with that. You know the thing about these sprinkler guys is save yourself some money. You know, just water your. My parents used to have those sprinkler systems that used to come up and everything. And then thing is, they do break down.
Yeah.
You know.
Just do the hose.
Yeah, whatever. You know, you go out there. We were talking about trailer boys. You know, you go out there, you light a smoke, you water the grass. I don't know, it can be kind of fun. Okay, so let's just quickly, we'll let Chris set up. Let me know when you're back. LRCX right now, Lam Research, those earnings are out, not much happening. Let's review IBM a little bit. IBM, again, HashiCorp, $6.4 billion, coming off of their market cap. So that makes sense because, again, they are acquiring HCP for $35 cash. So this name is probably halted right now, up here to 32 and change. We'll watch out for well, actually, it's moving around. So HCP should be done tomorrow at 35 cash. You got to give some leeway to that because, again, time value of money. We'll see how HCP trades tomorrow. This is a buyout name. So, all right, Chris, what do you want to talk about? It looks like you got DJT on your mind all of a sudden.
Yeah, the reason I mentioned DJT, now this is sort of creative.
Okay.
But the thing is, if DJT is testing its lows from last Thursday to Friday, so in the Dow Jones, transports have been down this year. So all it did was rally to resistance, that horizontal line. NVIDIA rallied to that resistance, that horizontal line. So to me, that meant the QQQ was going to fail.
So when you're trying those
on the right, just about correlated indexes. So if the transports were getting nailed and testing the low on the left, it just seemed to me that the QQQ was going to try to test the lows. It hasn't yet. But because of that, the only way it was going to do that is if the metas of the world get hit.
Right. And guess what happened?
So that's why we were short this morning when the transports got nailed.
Right.
And so it worked so far. So it would have avoided disaster. Let's just put it that way. And I'm not sure the QQQ isn't going to go to where the transports were last week. So that's pretty exciting. Like I said, the reversion trade worked in Meta. And if you want, I'll show you ASML and Lam Research and why we messed around with Lam Research in there.
Sure. We can go over that. I mean, I think that is important. You talked about companion trades. I mean, we could look right now, and if you come over, you get yourself loaded up here, but look at Snapchat. Snapchat pulling back down right now, down 7% as well on Meta earnings. We have names like Pinterest. Just thinking about Pinterest, look at this name, all the way down 33 down to 30 and change and going lower here, as well as some of these big social media names. I could see Microsoft maybe come. Yeah, look at that. LinkedIn, again, an asset for Microsoft. That's coming off. We know GOOGL. I mean, what brings I sold Google the other day as well.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
job.
Yeah, not bad. Nice move down in a lot of these names. So let's go over and look at ASML, of course, Chris, that reported last week, right? So that
I
must
reported last night.
Oh, ASML did? Oh, that's my
Well, I
bad.
could have that wrong, but yeah, I reported last week. Sorry, but it opened way up because of Texas Instruments. So what happened was we were playing the reversion trade in Lamb Research on the right.
Yeah.
So our whole idea is if ASML was pulled up because of good earnings from Texas Instruments and ASML started to get nailed. So this opened up 10. And Lamb Research, I know this is real simplistic, but that's how I am, I guess.
Yep. Aren't we all?
Is if Lamb Research open up 25 when ASML only open up 10, then you look for a trigger to short the Lamb Research, betting at the minimum of it going back to unchanged. There's that whole reversion thing like Meta. So when ASML on the left started to fill the entire gap, we were short Lamb Research right here. So now I didn't short much. I short all of 10 shares, so it made $13. So it's all on your size preference. But we made $13 in Lamb Research. But we had a different trade. When Lamb Research opened up here, we lowballed puts. So we bought the some out of the money puts at 410 and sold them 2 minutes later at 510. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it was
some of
all
those-
about reversion combined with other stocks in the group. And that's why we messed with Lamb Research on the right. Not overnight. I don't really bet on earnings a lot.
Right.
So except the whole thing with Meta would keep me from buying the Meta, thinking the QQQ will go where the transports are. Very unscientific, but it's worked over a long period of time.
Yeah, I don't believe in science anyways. No, we believe in science. Look at Meta, Chris. I mean, we are still going lower and lower and lower right here. I am feeling pretty good about that call going short on Meta. And congratulations, any of you that played this as well. Nice downside move right there for Meta. It's taken names with it. Is there a level before I let you go? Because I have to be gone at 4:30 today. I don't know if you were ever into Little League or anything like that, but I absolutely love coaching these kids, and I have a date with them tonight at 6 o'clock on the Diamond, so that should be a lot of fun right now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's
fun.
what's your favorite sport?
It's a little pleasure when the kids are young like that.
It really pulls at my heartstrings, so we better not talk about it or I'll get emotional. Okay, where is there support? Is there anything that you're seeing on Meta? Most of the people, we still have over 3,000 here right now because you know what, Chris? Real traders stay late, and that's what we're doing. So I'm going to ask you, as a real trader, where is support on Meta? I've drawn an anchored VWAP. I think we're getting close. Maybe 400 is that gap fill.
400.
400. Is that what you
Absolutely.
like? Okay, let me throw it over to you. Go ahead, Chris.
No, there's your filling the gap.
Yep.
You're on the same page with me on this. So when all heck breaks loose, I like using price levels. And definitely Meta there. Now, the other one you mentioned, there's some regulatory headwinds they talked about. That's got to hurt Google.
Yeah. Did you see what Google's doing in the aftermarket? Google right now down 2%.
So now you got this. You got on the left is Meta, and now you're wondering if Google's going to go to 145.
That would be a buy. So we had your friend Chris Varley on as well. He actually called Meta as being the one that he liked to the long, which is actually not to say there's anything wrong with that, but that's why I feel like Meta's down, right? Is because a lot of people were looking for that long. We even had a poll up in our chat, and it was like 60-40 basically that people thought Meta was going to beat. I was on, of course, the sell side. So lucky, sometimes we always talk about this, the sun shines on a dog's ass twice a day. So we could be right every once in a while, and today we were that. So, all right, Chris, where can they find you? At Simpler Trading, anything you're doing right now? I know you're big on stock twits.
I've been posting a lot on Twitter, which is at Chris Brether. Stock Twits is Christopher Brether. But if I do really, really bad trades, it's under John Smith. I just want to make that clear.
Right, same as me too. I have that 5/8 account that I just keep pumping out. So, of course, the problem with me is that every single trade I put on every single person can find it on YouTube. So I got to be on the up and up, but I do like that idea. I think I'm going to have a throwaway account on X. All right, it's Chris Brether. Look, thank you so much for coming on again. You're one of the best and one of my favorites. It's Chris Brether. Go find this guy.
That's nice of you to say. Well, thank you.
Thank you. See you, Chris. Take care, my friend. Ciao. That's Trader Talk. All right. Adara, look, we have so much fun now, and I put on there that we were going to talk about the sticky note and all of that, but the one thing that I have to show you guys about the sticky note is very, very simple, and this is put in your time, put in your work. We talked about people waking up at 4:30 and all that kind of stuff today. That's real good, you know, but at the end of the day, you got to do you.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting with all that is make sure that whatever time it is, whether or not it be 4:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, tonight, go home, figure your levels out, and then you know what? We wrote down here Tesla 168. You got to go to the sticky note. 168 right there. We talked about why we like that. We talked about Google long at 157.50. So let's go back over the top two trades of the day right here. Let's look at Tesla. So you're going to say, all right, Tesla was 168 short. We talked about that. The high of the day right there for Tesla is 167.97. We had 167.80s. And we got out at 158 and change. That's a $10 winner right there for Tesla. Do you remember what I said my Google long was?
Your Google long, your plan going forward, 145?
That was Chris Bretcher's level, but good call.
Sorry.
Right here, 157.50 we wrote down, Adara.
Yes.
You look at that. This is 157.50 right there.
perfect.
And that was it off the open. And then again today, we don't have a crystal ball. We just have experience, and we have what we call that gumption. So thank you so much for joining us. I got to get out of here. It's been a heck of a day.
Indeed.
We're going to be doing this all tomorrow.
I'm excited. Tomorrow we have even more earnings. We have Snap, we have Microsoft, we have Alphabet, we have Intel, we have Roku. There will be much to talk about tomorrow. So many earnings.
So many people would think that we're done now, but we're not done because we've got the roll call. All right, so look, this show would be nothing without everybody. Make sure you go find our sponsor at Real Trading. But now is an opportunity for everybody to say hi to each other. So let's go. Let me see who's in the chat right now. I've already seen Danielle Shea. Hi, Danielle Shea, who's gone now. What's up to Jay Walker? I mean, who's still here? Here's Trading School. Fat Figa's here. So what's up to you? What's up to Hold My Beer? YZ is here. Hey, is Yeezy here? What's up? Yay. If you're here. What's up to Bristol? What's up to Sebastian? Yeah, get those baseballs. Throw them baseballs up, baby. Right now. Yo, what's up to the Dan McIsaac? We know who you are. What's up to Hold My Beer? Jam Loke. D-Loaf is here. Hey, we like D-Loaves, man. What's up, Rich Naples? Best Pizza. Kevin Mendoza. Thank you, Katina. Oh, that's my name. Sorry. What's up to Atef? What's up to Derek? Chef Joe's here. Let's go, Chef Joe. Sebastian's in the building. Big Kyle Burdett. Shout out to Sharif and shout out to you as well. Yoel is here. Everybody. Rob Jenkins? I used to trade with the Rob Jenkins. If it is that Rob Jenkins, shout out to you, man. We had so much fun back in the day. If that's my guy, shout out to you. Shout out to Darren, if he's there as well. You'll know who that was. Adara and Sean bringing the heat. So shout out to Retail Joe as well. All right, I'm out of here.
Yep.
I mean, you want to just continue the show by yourself?
we could, I don't know, we could do more roll call. I'm bad at sarcasm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, no problem. That wasn't sarcasm.
That was seriousness. Okay.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
Okay, cool.
All right, shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for watching again today. I love you, Marissa. Thank you so much for everything, Adara. Thank you to Fabian for coming through, and thank you to my friend Chris Bretcher as well for throwing down on the market recap show. Look, this show's never going to be the same because every day it's different. We got earnings, we've got a new market, so make sure you join me daily and Adara daily on this exact desk as Real Traders Stay Late. It's your market recap show. Go find me at Trader TV Sean on Instagram and on X. Same with Miss A. All right, for now, it's been a blast. I'll see you tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao.
Oh.
Damn you, Brendan. This guy's always making us do more work.
Also, what was that? You were going to say something right before we went on, and you were like, oh.